Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. We're going to be talking about The Matrix today, the first movie. Here hanging out with Carlos. What's up, Carlos?
What's up?
I'm here hanging out with Ian. What's up, Ian?
Hey, what's up, man?
And yours truly speaking right now. This is Roman. And yeah, man, we're excited for this movie. Let's jump into it.
The Matrix is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy. But when you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it. Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress? I was. Look again.
Okay, so Matrix, quick little breakdown. So Thomas Anderson is a man living two lives. By day, he's an average computer programmer, and by night, he's a hacker known as Neo. And Neo's always questioned his reality, but the truth is far beyond his imagination. Neo finds himself targeted by the police when he's contacted by Morpheus, a legendary computer hacker, branded a terrorist by the government. And as a rebel against the machines, Neo must confront the agents, super powerful computer programs devoted to stopping Neo and the entire human rebellion. So all that is just kind of a long way of saying, the idea is pretty, I would almost say like standard now to us that, we're living in a simulation, and Neo kind of like he gets to break through and see the reality of it, and he's fighting to get out. And I just love that idea. I feel like The Matrix is another one of those movies now that it's like in the zeitgeist, it's just in popular culture. Even if you've never seen it, the ideas from it.
Yeah.
And that was kind of why I chose this one, because we had talked previously, Jaws, Commando. Well, those movies were 75, 85. I kind of wanted like a nice 90s movie. This one's 99.
Yeah.
And it has that same, well, I don't know about Commando, but at least for Jaws, where it's just like really ingrained into the culture. I mean, you can't even watch probably from the early 2000s. If you look at like any TV show or movie, there's probably some little reference to the Matrix in there.
Yeah, like
I'm thinking of like the bullet time scene, when he like leans back and the bullets are going over him.
Yeah, and Scary Movie, they made fun of it. And Scary Movie was making fun of scary movies, but they just had to throw in a Matrix reference because it was just so popular,
Yeah, it was huge, man.
Yeah.
It probably like, like hits blunt, like blew a lot of people's minds, man, because that idea. I read that it was based off of like a book, Simulacra and Simulation. Have you guys read that book? I mean,
no, I don't think I've heard of it.
It's a French book. I don't know. I guess we're not up to date on our 1980s French philosophers, but yeah, it's kind of like the same idea that we're like imitating the real world, the real life with all of like our symbols and everything. It's like basically to hide what really is real, and they kind of refined that in the movie, made it a little easier to digest, I think. Made it like, so basically we're living in a computer program. But I mean, have you guys ever had that thought? I've definitely had that thought, like, damn, like, is this even real? Like, is our reality something else? Like, is the veil being pulled over our eyes? I don't know.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's almost kind of like a Truman Show also in a way. Like, everything's controlled, or being watched, everything's planned, this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah, that's a great comparison.
It's very, I think a lot of people think that at least some point in their life.
Yeah. So what were you guys' thoughts on the movie on the rewatch? What'd you think? What kind of jumped out at you?
I'll let Carlos go first.
I had a good time, guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's always fun revisiting this one. It was huge back when it came out. I think we were talking about it earlier. I was 5 when it came out. Ian, you said you were like 4, so we were youngins. So we've pretty much grown up with life where Matrix is the standard, I guess you could say.
Yeah, exactly.
Post Matrix world.
Yeah,
post Matrix world. I played a lot of video games where it's referenced. First one that comes to mind is Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Oh my god, yeah.
I think you like actually reenact the entire lobby scene in that game. It's a lot of fun. Machine Gun and all the other squirrels.
I have
or whatever.
that lying around here somewhere. If I knew where, I'd pull out the cartridge of that.
Yeah, that's a fun
that's such a.
one.
I loved all the movie references in that, or I highly enjoyed all the movie references in that.
They like reference Alien at the end, I think. That's a fun game.
Yeah, Clockwork Orange to like open it up. Yeah, that's another topic. But
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I mean, this is in all of pop culture. I'm sure you could watch probably like even Family Guy. I feel like I've seen Brian the dog maybe dodge bullets at one point.
Yeah.
So we've definitely grown up in a post Matrix world.
yeah,
But just going back to where it all started and watching the main source after all
Mhm.
this time, it's been a minute since I've rewatched this one. Probably since the early 2000s. And going back and rewatching it, it's pretty awesome to see what started it all. There's a reason
Yeah.
why it's so big. I think it still holds up to this day. The themes and the storyline, I was able to understand those better now that I'm older and have more life experience.
Mhm.
It meant more to me this time. The visuals, there's a few like CGI visuals that are a little outdated, but overall, you see a lot of practical effects. One that you can always see brought up on like Reddit is the doorknob scene right when they're going into the Oracle's home. Um, they didn't CGI the reflection. They just had the camera right there looking at the doorknob, and they just threw a coat over the camera. So if you go back and freeze frame that, you can see that that was shot practically.
Yeah.
oh, that's cool.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah, pretty
Yeah,
cool
that's
little
cool.
Easter egg.
Yeah, nice.
Love Keanu Reeves. Love the cast. The cast is amazing.
Yeah, really.
Trinity's dope. Morpheus. I love
Agent
Fishburne.
Smith, yeah.
Dude,
Yeah,
Agent
yeah.
Smith is always a fun bad
Agent
guy.
Smith,
Yeah.
Mr. Anderson.
Yeah. I read that he was emulating a Walter Cronkite. I thought that was pretty
Yeah,
funny.
like a 50s news reporter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Super just like baseline, no change, very calm. I really
right.
liked Cypher as well. The guy like
Yeah,
Yeah.
his
dude,
little
he's a classic bad guy.
goatee.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was good. And they're all good. Keanu. Did you guys read like there was a list of people that they said was potentially going to be Neo? And this is funny because we talked about this last time where in the 80s there was kind of a prototypical action star and it was the big buff guy, the Arnold Schwarzenegger, or I don't know, he's someone like Jean Valjean. Or wait, I'm thinking Inglorious Bastard, or I mean Les Mis. Yeah. What's Jean-Claude?
Jean-Claude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just a little list here of who they considered for Neo: Will Smith, Johnny Depp, Val Kilmer, Brad Pitt, Ewan McGregor, David Duchovny, which is a weird one, Mark Wahlberg, Leo DiCaprio, freaking David Schwimmer, Ross
Jesus
from Friends.
Christ.
Yeah, Nick Cage. You know, it was supposed to be Brandon Lee actually originally, I believe, but you know he passes away.
Brandon Lee.
Yeah,
but
that just kind of goes to show like those guys that's sort of like the different. That's a changing. I don't know, a new kind of class of like action movie stars, right. And a lot of those guys probably could have fit in, but I'm glad it was Keanu. Definitely.
Yeah,
I can't imagine anybody else as Neo. You
know. Will Smith talks. He made this YouTube video. I just watched it of him talking about how he had a talk with the Wachowskis about the Matrix and how they wanted him to play Neo, and he said they wanted him for Neo and Val Kilmer for Morpheus. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like they wanted Val Kilmer in the movie really bad.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Because at the time, you know, very popular actors, you know, and a lot of really popular movies making a lot of money.
Definitely. Val Kilmer, I'm sure, would have brought some people in.
Oh, definitely.
But man, Lawrence Fishburne as Morpheus is so good.
Yeah.
That character is legendary, you know?
Yeah.
Take the blue pill, take the red pill.
Yeah. Yep.
I found an interesting connection. I know I'm going a little off topic here. In Total Recall in 1990, I think, they also have they give Arnie the red pill, the doctor, the like therapist or whatever, the guy that sweats and then he shoots him.
Right.
Yeah,
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. You know,
there's some similarities between that movie and this movie. That's I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, kind of that same almost dystopian.
And like, is this reality or is it not reality?
Definitely. Yeah, true.
That's a really good comparison.
And you know, it's funny. This movie was, I think it won we talked about the CGI. It actually won best visual effects in
Right.
2000. I saw
Deservedly so.
Yeah, because it was nominated against Stuart Little and the Phantom Menace.
I'm glad
Dang.
nothing against Stuart Little, but I'm glad Matrix won.
Yeah, and I guess Jar Jar wasn't good enough to pull it through. I kind of think it's the visual effects. I think the practical effects are really good, like the lobby scene and stuff like that is probably more so than like the CGI, like
All
the flames that come out of like the elevator or whatever were pretty
Yeah.
bad, I noticed. and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
I know. I was telling Carlos, there's some stuff that I don't think really holds up. I remember the part where his mouth sealed shut. I remember
Yeah,
that
Yeah.
looking like a little more realistic as a kid.
yeah,
I
it
liked
reminded me of
it.
the
This
Mummy.
time around, it looked fine to me.
Yeah, I mean, it could have looked worse, but I remember it looking better. Maybe
Well, that
that's just
one
me
was a
nitpicking.
mix of CGI and practical. Like when
And then I
it's kind of
think-
like gummy, that's the CGI that looks bad.
And
yeah.
then when it's finally sealed shut, it's probably like an appliance over proof like
Yeah.
that, probably.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
But just to bring that kind of tie that together, it's funny the person that gave them, there's always like a famous actor that gives the award over. It was actually Arnold Schwarzenegger, so that's kind of funny too.
Oh,
Like,
that's cool.
yeah, it kind of
nice.
connects
John
those
Matrix.
movies too.
John
Matrix.
Matrix.
Yeah,
That's
That's
cool.
funny.
that's right. I forgot about that. The craziest
Matrix.
coincidence to me in this whole movie, and I'm sorry, we'll get back. I know Ian, you haven't talked yet about the movie, but
No worries, man.
Keanu's passport expires on 9/11.
Oh my
2001.
God, dude, I remember people saying that like 10 years ago on the
Yeah.
internet
What?
everywhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. It
That's
does.
a trip.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
His
yeah.
passport in Matrix, I don't remember him having a passport.
He does. He's still in the human world, He's I mean, not the human
is-
world,
Oh, in the
the
Matrix.
simulation. He's in the Matrix.
Let me look this up. You're right, Roman. It's some kind of at least, or like maybe it's his driver's license, something
Yeah,
in it. Let me look it up.
because it takes place in
Why?
99 in the Matrix.
Yeah.
Within the Matrix. I mean,
So when the hell?
I think
When
he's.
did they show this?
I think it's when he's getting interrogated by the agents
yeah, that
right
has
before
to
they
be
put the
it.
bug in him.
Yeah, that's got to be it. In
Oh,
that folder they
dang.
have on him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny. The bug is in
That's
him for like
crazy.
2 minutes of screen time. Like they put it in and they immediately just take it out.
That
Yeah.
always gross. As a kid, that always grossed me out when it goes in his belly button.
Ooh, when I
That
watched
was
it this
pretty
time, I
scary
could
scene.
feel it in my belly,
Yeah.
man. I was
Yeah.
like, "Ugh."
It's like of all places, why the belly button? Ugh. So that's gotta be so uncomfortable.
That's still the visual effects for that one still held up pretty well too.
It's like
it
the
wasn't
shrimp,
the worst.
the shrimp looking thing.
Yeah.
The robotic shrimp. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it wasn't the worst.
No, you're right. It wasn't. I actually remember thinking that watching it, like, oh, that's not so bad.
Yeah, that looked pretty good.
Yeah, but I can understand it because this is the late 90s. CGI is obviously not where it's at today. I think a lot of people were having fun with it, still trying new things. When did The Mummy come out? Was it like 2002 or something?
No, I think
Probably like
same
2000.
like 2000 maybe let me I actually like that movie. It's not great, but
Oh, I love Mummy.
I
It's
need to
like
revisit it.
it came out in 1999.
Oh, did it? Well, there you go. But I know that movie's like famous for its bad CGI, especially The Rock.
I as the
actually Scorpion King.
well, that's this. I think that was
That's the
like,
second
Mummy
one.
Returns, which I remember liking as well. I actually picked those up. There was a sale and I picked them up. I need to watch. I never saw the third one, but I remember liking the first two for what they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has because technically it's a remake, and it's as a remake it's kind of shitty, but just as like a fun it's almost kind of Indiana Jones
Yeah.
ish.
Love
Yeah,
Brendan
the
Fraser.
Jones-ish.
lovable like rogue lead, kind of
Yeah,
like Han Solo too.
Yeah.
Yes, and like the setting.
Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, the setting was very Indiana Jonesy. The time setting was Indiana Jonesy.
hmm
That's another topic. Maybe one of these days we could talk about those movies. That'd be kind of fun.
I'm down.
There's so many to
revisit.
get to.
And then talk about the Tom Cruise one that came out a few years ago. 'Cause
Rest in
apparently that movie
peace, the Universal monster.
Oh, they're trying to do like
universe.
their own universe. Man,
Oh, really? I
Good
don't know. I didn't know anything about that. That's
what
funny.
a great plan that was.
Did you watch the
Mummy
Tom Cruise
Universe.
ones?
Oh no, that looked so insulting. I did not bother. Did not spend my money on that.
My dad took me to the Brendan Fraser ones when I was a kid, so I took him to the Tom Cruise one.
Oh,
He's like, why'd you do
Oh,
this to me?
Yeah.
what an awful payback.
Yeah, Wasn't very
Did you
good.
like? Well, actually, I mean, what did you? It was okay. I was gonna actually ask you. It's like, was it actually that bad as I heard? Or
I got excited for the cinematic universe because they connected with Dr. Jekyll, Mr.
and
Hyde,
they were gonna do like they're
Whoa,
gonna do the Wolfman and stuff.
Dracula, and
Yeah,
it's a cool
then it just
idea.
collapsed.
yeah,
But enough about the mummy.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I
easy to get distracted.
Yeah,
I
what'd you
know.
think, Ian? What'd you think about this movie?
Is that what we're so we're talking about a rewatch?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's pretty honestly what Carlos said, really almost verbatim. I hadn't seen it probably since the early 2000s. One thing I will add, because I liked the rewatch. I had a really fun time.
Hmm.
Mhm.
But one thing I will add is I think there might be a reason why I hadn't watched it in so long. I think like because I did like it as a kid. I had the DVDs and everything. I used to watch them a lot. I was telling I don't know if you were here yet, Roman, but when before we started recording, I was telling Carlos like watching this brought back so many memories of just like movies at the time. Like when I think of these movies, I think of like the Lord of the Rings movies,
right.
the Star Wars prequels,
Mhm.
like the Spider-Man movies, the X-Men movies. There's just so many like what else? The Harry Potter movies.
Right.
Like there were so many movies coming out at that time that were such like big event movies,
Mhm.
like oh, you have to go see this. You have to go see Matrix. You have to go see the Star Wars movie. You have to go see Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings. And
Great
it brought back so
franchises.
many memories of that.
A lot of
And
good films in this time.
Yeah,
yeah, and
those
I
2000s.
for whatever reason, I don't know if it's just because I don't know. I never really watched them again after I turned like maybe 9 or 10. And
Mhm.
I almost got to the point where I almost thought that in a way I still do. I almost think some people overrate the Matrix because
Mhm.
looking at it, it's like because I've watched a lot more movies since when I watched them as a kid and watching like John Woo movies from like the late 80s and early 90s, like a lot of Hong Kong cinema, and like this is so Matrixy. This is
Yeah.
so Matrixy. And other visual effects as well at certain movies at the time.
Mhm.
It's like I was kind of almost like, man, it's like Matrix isn't even that big of a deal. But then watching it again this time, I was like, I can understand why people hold it in such high regard. It's just so visually striking, and
Mhm.
it's all like a feast for the eyes at times.
Yeah,
And not in the sense of like landscapes or anything, but more just the coding. That's one thing I always remember from these movies, the green
for sure.
coding on the black
Iconic.
background. I always think of the color green when I think of these movies. There's so much it's
Right.
when they're in the one thing I never noticed, and this time I picked up on when they're in the Matrix, it's the color timing's green, and then when they're in the real world, the color timing's blue, which I thought was a nice touch.
Wow.
They use like a filter.
Uh, yeah, they color so when they were processing the film in post production, you can color time the film. So they color timed all the Matrix when they're in the Matrix world green, and then in the real world when they're on the ship, it's all bluish,
Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
which I thought was
That's cool.
I thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah, because I didn't
And
notice that, but it's definitely a subconscious thing.
Yeah.
yeah, this time I was like, oh, that like because I remember thinking like those movies are so green, and then when I'm watching them on the ship, I'm like, oh, this is actually really kind of like more dark and kind of
Mhm.
more blue lighted in a way. And I think they looking up on it, they did that on purpose, which is cool.
That is cool.
And
Mhm.
yeah, man, just it was these movies were such a because I don't remember when this came out, but I do remember when the sequels came out. I think I told you guys before the third movie was the first R-rated movie I saw in the theater,
Mhm.
and they were just such. It was like Roman was saying, it was a pop culture phenomenon.
Yeah.
Like they were just so big. In fact, I remember they shot the sequels down in Oakland and Alameda. So I remember like my mom's friends who lived down there, like, oh yeah, they're shooting the Matrix sequels down here. Such
Oh,
a
Mhm.
big
cool.
deal. We got to see Keanu Reeves on the freeway. Oh yeah, fighting, shooting the movies, this and that. It's just so at the time, just such a big deal. And yeah, one thing I think I read Simon Pegg said uh The Matrix was the 1999 movie that everyone wasn't expecting
Mhm.
and hyped for, but walked out of it really hyped up, and the complete opposite regarding Phantom Menace. Everybody was hyped up for it and left incredibly disappointed.
Oh,
Like,
Damn.
and it's, hey man, like when you, because one thing I kind of wanted to bring up, we can bring it up later, is just 1999 in general was a big year for movies. Yeah, I think this is a much more quality film than Phantom Menace. You know, Phantom Menace, say what you will, but you know, it's The Matrix did, I think, a lot more.
Yeah, it might have more longevity too in terms of. Well, I don't know. It's hard to say in Star Wars.
Phantom Menace is Star Wars, man. That's never gonna die.
Exactly.
But if you're teaching a film class, you're
Yeah.
probably gonna show The Matrix probably over Phantom.
Yeah.
And again, you know, nothing. We can talk about that maybe later when we're talking, if we want to talk about 1999 in film.
Yeah, that would be cool to get to dive into a little bit later, because
Yeah,
I can't think of any 99 movies off the top of my head, but
there's
I'm
a
sure.
lot.
Yeah, you go down
There's
the
a- there's
list,
a
I'd be
lot,
like,
yeah.
oh yeah, of course.
There's a shoot ton. So
A shoot
Yeah.
ton. Yeah, I like that this movie kind of brought together a lot of stuff too. You know, it's kind of like cyberpunky, what's the word, dystopian, like future shit, but then there's martial arts.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the gunplay is fun.
Yeah.
I especially loved
oh yeah.
wow, what was the guy's name? Mouse, the little guy. Yeah.
Dude, thank you.
I wanted to bring him up, and I wanted to bring the blonde haired chick. I think her name was Switch.
Yeah, Switch.
I wanted to specifically bring those two up, but
Same.
I'll let you
Go, Roman.
Yeah, go Roman.
Well, I
Take
was just
it.
thinking specifically about Mouse, the scene with the guns when he's getting shot up by all the dudes. Yeah, he
Oh,
pulls
yeah.
out those two, and I had to pause it to look at like what he had. I think they're like grenade launchers.
They
or
kind of, yeah, they
shotguns?
look some kind of,
What?
didn't they have like revolving
He's dual
barrels
wielding
or
them.
something?
Yeah, they did. They had the big like
Something like
drum
that.
barrel type thing,
They were
Thank you, the
huge.
drums, yeah.
and I
They
just
were,
love
they're
that.
like bigger than him.
Yeah, and so like one scene, like he's firing, and then it cuts, and it's like Morpheus hand-to-hand combat, and then like they're all doing like their I don't know what you would call it, like the slow motion, like when they're running and jumping all high, and like the beginning, Trinity's rooftop chase, and she's just like diving across stuff. I just thought it was really fun, all these different kind of elements coming together, and that's why I think it's just so stylistic. It's plus the outfits and the environment and
Trench
everything.
coats, leather,
yeah, so much leather, black clothing.
sunglasses.
Sunglasses.
The
all
sunglasses
time.
are legendary.
Yeah.
You guys seen you guys have I know you have seen Big Trouble in Little China, and
Oh yeah.
remember when like the gang comes and they steal the girl on the train as she's arriving, and they
Yeah.
have like those sunglasses on.
Yes.
Yeah, I love those sunglasses.
Yes.
And
Yeah, man.
these are maybe the only, Morpheus's specifically are the only ones that might be a little cooler to me, or at least I don't know what to call it. It's like funny, but also pretty damn cool. you
Yeah.
know?
Well, that's one thing I told you guys before. It's like, how does Morpheus wear his sunglasses? There's no cables. It's
Yeah.
just, he just like puts it on his nose.
He's in
It's
the Matrix,
face.
man. He knows how to manipulate it, I guess.
Clips onto his nose bridge.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah, but I did think the movie overall, man, it's a blast. It's fun. It's a good action movie. There's a good
Yes.
story to it. Even like Keanu Reeves, who might be kind of, I don't know what you'd say, wooden at times. Like his acting is not maybe like the most expressive.
Mhm.
Kind of works, I think.
I agree. It didn't bother me because so many people made fun of him.
Yeah.
Like when these were big, just like the whoa. And I know kung fu.
I know kung fu. That's
But-
a great line.
That's iconic
It's-
though. I know
yeah.
Kung Fu.
Yeah.
I love that one.
But I agree with you, Roman. It for me it works too. I'm not gonna nitpick that.
Yeah. No, there are things that I don't know. It's like in another movie it might not work, but in this one,
It's the Matrix, it works for the Matrix.
yep, most definitely. So, well, you guys wanted to talk about characters. I mean,
Can we go back to Mouse, please?
yeah. What'd you guys think of Mouse?
Dude,
Pete, two words, Pete Davidson. That's the whole time I'm watching it. I was like, this fucker's Pete Davidson.
I like that. When they're eating their like lunch, I guess, he leans over to Neo and says, "So what'd you think about the girl in the red dress? Did you like her?" And he's eating his like porridge, I guess you would call it, and he's like smacking his lips. Did you like her? Like, what'd you think? And it reminded me a lot of Heath Ledger's Joker. Were you picking up those vibes?
Okay. I didn't
That's
even
what I
think
was
of that.
getting.
That's funny.
Yeah, I was picking up a lot of Heath Ledger off of that scene, and then of course Roman brought up the shotguns. I don't know where they shotguns or grenade launchers, but that scene
Yeah.
was so badass. I remember seeing that, and then like the whole team starts getting taken out, and that was like a pretty like big scene for me when I was younger. I was like, oh
Yeah.
man, this whole thing's going to shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's intense.
And then of
The whole,
course Switch.
a lot of it's intense.
Yeah.
Which so Switch is originally supposed to switch, right? In the Matrix, it was supposed to be a man, and then in the real world, it's supposed to be a woman. That's what I understood.
Whoa.
Oh, really?
There's
I didn't
a
know
whole
that.
bunch of stuff. I mean, I'm not really qualified to talk about it, but like a whole bunch of trans stuff going on in this movie. I mean,
Oh.
you know, the Wachowski brothers
Our sisters
uh,
now.
sisters now,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think there must have been something with them,
Maybe.
you know, like whether it was subconscious or intentional or what. But yeah, I think Switch was originally supposed to be when they were in the Matrix. It was a male
Whoa.
character.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
but I saw that I think Warner Brothers or whoever did it,
Crazy.
they basically said, nah, like let's just have it be a woman on both. But she's kept the name Switch.
Yeah, I like that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Do you guys know who Megan Rapinoe is?
yeah, the soccer.
So that's the whole time I'm like, she looks like Megan. When I was like, she looks like Megan Rapinoe, and Mouse looks like Pete Davidson. And I don't know if it's just because those two people have been kind of, because Pete Davidson was in Suicide Squad and the Olympics just happened.
Yeah.
But I remember in that car scene when she points the gun at Neo, she's like, "Look, we can play 20 questions, whatever she says." I'm like, "What the hell? Like, what's Megan Rapinoe doing pointing a gun at gun?"
You know, it was funny. She calls him Copper Top, and I looked up
Oh,
why. Yeah.
yeah. What does that mean?
Because is it Morpheus shows him the battery and says like basically we're this, your humans are batteries, and the Duracell batteries have the top. Yeah,
That's
what
cool.
they say.
Okay.
Copper
I
top,
actually had to
'cause he's
rewind
still
that.
a battery at that
Yeah,
point.
I had to rewind and put the subtitles on. I'm like, what did she call him? I'm like, Copper Top. I'm like,
Yeah.
huh, I wonder what that means.
Yeah,
I just thought it was like you know, techie jargon slang or something.
exactly. I think yeah. You know the green text. Did you guys see? It's like got characters in it, like Japanese characters and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. And then the
Me too.
numbers, it's like reversed letters and numbers, like, but it just kind of flipped, and it works so well, like so simple, but so iconic, you know.
Gives it like a foreign feel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Like,
that,
what is this?
that's
Matrix?
all just, it's just dripping through the whole movie, you know, like all that, just like it's almost like you said, like techie slang, even though it's not. It's just, it's a cool universe. It's like a cool world that they built for
Yeah,
this movie.
it is.
What do you guys think of?
That's kind of a character on its own, you know.
What do you guys think of when we get introduced to Neo? He's in his apartment, and the other kind of like, they're like tech punks, whatever you want to call those people, come,
Yeah.
and he gives, how much does he give him for that floppy disk drive?
It's like a
$2,000,
couple
I think.
grand, yeah.
Yeah. And like that's when of course he says is like, it's like, thanks man, you're my own personal Jesus Christ. And it's like, okay, they're really
There's another one.
hammering home the Jesus
Ooh,
allegory.
I didn't catch that. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
so much
I like
Jesus
when
stuff.
when Neo's like, if they catch you using that, I always wondered like, what is that? Like,
Is
what's
that
he gonna
drugs?
do?
What is that?
No, it was like it was a program that
Some kind of
Neo,
computer program, yeah.
I wonder if like he was gonna go like maybe like fuck up bank software, like maybe
Mhm.
something with the government or something. Because he's like, if
Ooh.
they catch you with that, he's like, oh, that's never happened before. You know, don't worry, I know what I'm doing.
Legendary computer hacker, Neo.
That's right. And then Trinity apparently was a legendary computer hacker as well. We
Yeah,
had,
Morpheus
at
too.
the night. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's why he's like a wanted criminal and stuff. 'Cause he was
Oh,
a
like they
hacker.
call him a terrorist. They're like, yeah, one of
Yep.
the most well-known terrorists in the country or something, or worldwide.
Yeah. Very
That's
interesting
interesting.
stuff.
I like that when he meets Trinity. He's like, I just for some reason I always thought you were a guy. And then Trinity goes, most people do.
Yeah. That's great. That's when you also, when they meet those, I don't know, techie like ravers or whatever, that's when he sees the white rabbit. There's a ton of
that's
Alice in
right.
Wonderland stuff.
Oh yeah.
There's so many, there's multiple. And isn't that a thing in Alice in Wonderland too? The red pill and the blue pill? I can't remember if
I don't know
exactly
off
what
the top
it
of my
is.
head.
There's
One-
the
It might-
bread that makes you big.
one
or the
pill
bread
makes
that
you large.
small.
Oh, yeah. Maybe so, yeah.
Yeah, and you got
Or
to
the
follow the
drink.
White Rabbit, and they mention it a few times. Alice in Wonderland,
Yeah.
and then there's all the biblical Jesus stuff. Like, man, they really drew from a lot to make this.
Yeah.
That's
Doesn't
awesome.
Cypher say something to him when he welcomes him in the real world? Don't you feel like you're really gone down the rabbit hole this time or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
something
that's the
along those
other Alice in
lines.
Wonderland. Yeah.
He makes a Wizard of Oz reference too. He's like, Kansas, go bye-bye or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put
Buckle
on
up,
your
Dorothy.
heels.
Yeah,
whatever
buckle
it
up,
is.
Dorothy, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I liked his character a lot too. I mean, he's an asshole, but
I
he
never,
plays it really well.
I never as a kid really understood like why is he betraying them, and it's because he wants to go back to the Matrix, the simulation. He's like, this world sucks. Just let me, like,
Yeah.
you know, he says like ignorance is bliss. You know, like
Yeah.
let me pretend that I'm, you know,
I know
doing
the
whatever the hell
stake
I
isn't
wanna do.
real, but
Yeah.
and that speaks to a lot. I saw that the Wachowski brothers, when they were interviewed in this movie or after the movie, they said they would have taken the blue pill. You know?
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
because shit. I mean, there's a lot to say for that.
Yeah.
Ignorance is bliss. You know?
Yeah. True.
That is kind of some like, it's kind of cool. The movie makes you think of some greater like human themes that we've just been dealing with forever, basically.
Yeah.
And they frame it.
That's-
It's all framed as an action movie.
Right. It's one
You
thing
know?
that's like funny, like in the real world, they just wear like tattered clothes. They look like serfs in the middle ages or something.
Yeah, they
You
do.
know,
That's
like-
right.
Yeah.
All beat. Friggin' Keanu's wearing like some beat up clothes straight out of the Yeezy collection.
Yeah.
His
That's
boots are
hilarious.
sick though. He has sick
Yeah.
boots.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. What were you guys saying about Switch though? Like that you just like the character. I mean that reminded you. I know you said it, Megan Rapinoe,
Yeah.
but
I like her iconic death. Not like this.
Not like
Not like
this.
this.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty
Yeah.
sad too.
Yep.
Because it's
Yeah.
like, you know, they've only liberated like a few people, like only a handful of people they've actually pulled out of the Matrix, and they did that with her and Cypher, and then Cypher's gonna go and betray
Yeah.
him. It's fucked up.
So how do you get out of the Matrix properly? Because you obviously can't just unplug yourself because that's going to kill you. Do they have to run a like you know, like when you eject USB ports, is it kind of like that or something? Like,
Maybe.
That's a good way to think about it.
Maybe that's why they're all hackers. Like because when Keanu gets pulled out, Neo gets pulled out of the womb, so to speak, that machine comes and it like unplugs him or whatever and just
Right.
drops him. And is
Right.
it supposed to be like, is he supposed to be dying? I kind of missed that part.
I think they're like maybe like, oh, he woke up. Well, let's just put him through the slide into the
Mhm.
water, and he'll just wash off and hopefully die. That's the impression I got, because it's like, it's almost like, why is the machine like helping him? Because
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
think maybe like Morpheus and all them knew that was going to happen. That's why they go pick him up with the claw thing.
Yeah, maybe either the machine could have been like hacked, maybe.
Maybe,
because-
maybe, yeah. Maybe.
Yeah. Or, you know, they do talk about Agent Smith talks about later how, or was it Agent Smith, maybe Morpheus, that when people die, they just liquidate them and then feed them to the other people intravenously.
I never picked that up as a kid. That,
Wait.
like this sounds like, oh, that's so gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
ooh,
I missed that part. How did I
gross.
miss that?
yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
They
no.
talk about when Morpheus is kind of explaining everything to Neo.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
The dead. So maybe that's what was going to happen. Like you said, they just thought he was going to die and they were going to kind of melt him down or whatever.
Yeah, that's
Liquidate.
yeah. I always think of Dr. Evil. I had them liquidated, you little shits. They were insolent.
That whole waking up in the real world scene is so iconic though. Waking up with all the hoses connected to you. Reminding me a lot of is it H.R. Geiger who did the Alien films?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it
Yeah,
felt
yeah,
like.
definitely.
Really dark
Definitely.
and a lot of
The
different
shit feels a lot
hoses.
like Alien to me too. Like a much grittier version, but
Mhm.
still kind of drawn from the same inspiration. You know, I played as a kid a game StarCraft, and that takes a huge chunk of its inspiration from Alien, but another
Oh, yeah.
is Matrix. Like even one of the cheat codes is there is no spoon. You know?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, like
Nice.
those two films are just connected for me for some reason, but very different, of course. You know?
Yeah.
Actually, I think Aliens is probably more like Matrix because of the action part.
The action, definitely.
Yeah, the
I
gunfire.
think like so like the Matrix has like the because I think the first Alien is a very gritty movie.
Mhm.
I think it's got like the grittiness of the first movie and the action of the second movie.
Yeah, just and then like we said, just very unique. I don't know. I can't think of many films that are similar. I know that they said they drew inspiration from like Ghost in the Shell and stuff, which is
Right.
pretty similar, but I don't know. Oh, I saw that the you were talking about the pod, Carlos, like when all the stuff in him. I saw that Keanu lost like 15 pounds or something to do that. I think that was the
and
last scene they shot.
Shaved his body and all his body hair and everything.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, that
Yeah.
guy seems really committed.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that's one thing
definitely.
about Keanu Reeves is like he takes everything. He's not like a what's it called, a method actor necessarily,
He
but
takes it
I think
seriously
he's
though.
halfway
Yeah.
there.
What else? Tank. You want to talk about Tank and Dozer?
I like
Yeah,
them.
yeah, the brothers. They're brothers.
Yeah.
And they were born in Zion.
Right.
That's another biblical thing.
One thing I never picked up as a kid either. When
Yeah.
like he's like, yeah, you got no holes in you. Yeah, I was born here in the real world.
Yeah.
That's
Cool
cool
character
too,
development.
Yeah.
That's cool. And I know they go later to Zion in the sequels, but
Right.
it's just more world building, like
Yeah.
oh, there's this underground, there's this human town, like you'll get to it later.
Mm.
Almost like a video game,
Right.
in
Yeah.
that sense too.
Did you guys ever play any of the video games they made for these?
A little
No,
bit of
I
them,
didn't.
yeah. They
I
were
remember,
hard from what I remember.
Yeah, I remember there's Enter the Matrix and then the Path of Neo, and I played Enter the Matrix more. They're pretty fun, but they were tough.
Yeah.
They were
You get
tough.
to do like the bullet time and stuff like that in those games. That would be
I
awesome.
I think so. Yeah.
It's like they call it VATS in Fallout, when you like get to slow down time.
Yeah,
and shoot.
yeah.
And also, I played Fear. I don't know if you guys ever played those games. Like
Oh my
horror.
god, I forgot about those.
Yeah, the first one was fun. I think
haven't
I
played
did the
those in
second
so
one.
long.
It wasn't. Yeah, those were trippy too, and they had a similar mechanic in that, like you could slow it down and get the. I think they did actually call it bullet time. There you go.
Max Payne, when you could slow down time and do
that's
the
right. Yeah.
diving with your guns.
Yeah, that's funny. I was just talking about Max Payne yesterday with some friends.
That's funny.
Random. Yeah, I mean, I even saw like a stat like by the year 2002, I think there have been like 20 plus movies that had what's it called? Not parodied, kind of like the bullet time sequence alone,
What?
just that.
They even like did it.
Just that.
They even did it in Shrek, kind of like even kids movies. They do it in kids movies too.
They do it in Shrek 2, I think, or no, it is Shrek 1 when she's fighting the Merry Men, and she does exactly what Trinity does, where she goes up and she's kind of crouching in the midair.
Yep.
It freezes and like the camera pans around her, or like circles around her a little bit. Yeah, just some great shots.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then Tank was such a cool character. Like you thought he's dead when he gets shot by that sick ass laser gun.
Yeah, the energy bolt, whatever the hell. Yeah.
Yeah.
If he's the chosen one, then something should save him right now, right?
Yeah.
Some sort
I was
of
wondering
miracle.
what it was gonna be. I couldn't remember, and then it's Tank, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the characters, I don't know, they didn't get used very much, but I still felt like they had a lot of personality to them,
Yeah.
Just it reminded me of The Thing a little bit, when they're in when they're eating that slop or whatever, and they're all there like talking, and they just kind of seem like, is it The Thing I'm thinking of? I don't know. They just kind of seem like they've been together a long time. Yeah, it is The Thing, because The Thing, they're isolated in like that base,
right?
And in this, they're isolated on like the ship, and it's just them,
right?
And they all seem like pretty connected. Somehow they didn't know that Cypher was a betrayer. I don't know why the Oracle didn't know that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
the Oracle, she's a cool character too. I mean, she's only in there for a second, but
yeah, she bakes cookies.
Yeah, and that I thought that was funny, because I was clicking on something as that scene was going, and it's like, do you want to allow cookies? And then she's got cookies, Yeah. She has something like above her door. Do you guys remember what it said? Know yourself, know thyself.
Oh, something. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's supposed to be from like the Oracle of Delphi back in ancient Greece. I think they had
Oh,
that
wow.
inscribed above that oracle as well.
That's really
That's
cool.
cool.
Yeah, you know, they go see her in 300. I remember that's probably like a pretty common one where they talk to the oracle and shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
But the idea of the oracle is pretty common. She's in the Odyssey, right? I mean, Homer's shit.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Do you think that Nia would have knocked over the flowers if she didn't say anything?
Oh, that was funny. She's like, "Would you?" Yeah, she even asked him that, right?
yeah, she says something. What is
Yeah.
it like? What'll really burn your noodle? Or I can't
Yeah,
remember.
Yeah,
would really
yeah,
melt
yeah,
your brain.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's kind of like a microcosm of the whole movie. Like I don't know, like what you do and how that affects things, and I don't know. There are people that would
Having
say it much better
control
than
of
me.
your own life. I
Yeah,
guess that's what Nia
destiny.
says.
Destiny.
He's scared of not being able to control what he does, I guess.
Mm-hmm. It's cool that like when Morpheus asks that, he kind of knows he's going to say that, and yet they still go to like this oracle who's supposed to tell you your future, and it's like, is your path predestined? Are you forging your own path? And that's kind of, I think that's all why she told him like, you're not the oracle, or you're not the one. You know, there's something to that. I'm sure you could write like a big essay on it or something, really dive in, but it's just one little piece of the movie, which is crazy to me.
Going back to the intro, I think I read something where they said they had to train for like 6 months to shoot that
Yeah.
intro alone. And then it took like
Yeah, I
4
saw
days to
that,
shoot.
Just
Yeah,
with
that's crazy.
Trinity and the chase and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
It's
know
a good
what?
opening scene.
It
Yeah.
is. Yeah. The part where she's running across the rooftops, she finally does one final dive
Mm-hmm.
through a window, and it, as she's diving through the air, it reminded me a lot of a Sam Raimi film, like The Evil Dead, because you just hear the as she's
Yeah.
flying through, and it's just her body spinning really slow through the air. And then
That's
she
funny.
busts through the window, down the stairs, and she
Right,
looks up,
yeah.
and that felt very like Evil Dead to me too. The swinging light at the top of the stairs, and
Yeah,
Mhm.
the broken
Yeah, the
window.
creepy
Oh,
stairs.
yeah.
It turns around, face the camera.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, and she's pointing her guns, and then that was totally Kill Bill for me. She said, "Get up, Trinity, get up," kind of like wiggle your big
Oh.
toe and Kill Bill.
Yeah.
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 Wiggle your big
Yeah.
toe.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's
I'm
cool.
sure that, man, so many movies you could probably look at released after this that took inspiration from it. You know, whether or
Yeah.
not like they're actually referencing it or just some of the same ideas and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so cool to like rewatch movies, you know, as an adult later after having like, you know, expanded my
Right.
knowledge, which still isn't very much. I mean, I don't know that many movies, but man,
Yeah. I mean, same. Yeah. There's a lot out there.
yeah. Like heck, I'm never gonna watch probably all the maybe some of them, but not all like the Hong Kong movies with all the martial arts. And what's the guy's name? Wu Ping Yuan or whatever, the stunt coordinator guy that did all the fights and stuff.
Yeah.
I know he did like a bunch of Jackie Chan movies and stuff, and he did Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which actually came out
Oh,
after.
wow. That's cool.
Yeah, but you know, he has like a huge list of movies that he's done in China that I'll probably never see. And like, you know,
Right.
that's just so cool to me that there's all this material out there and so much to
Right,
draw
yeah.
from.
Definitely.
Mm.
Yeah, I think like around this time, Asian cinema was getting really big. There's this movie, there's a director, his name is Takashi Miike, and in the late 90s, his movies got pretty notable recognition over here. He has this movie called it's called Audition.
Mhm.
That was a big deal when it came out. I've never seen it. I know it's supposedly really crazy. It got played like in art houses over here when it came out and was like a really big, you know, word of mouth.
Yeah.
And they were remaking like, you know, like The Ring, The Grudge, those were all Japanese movies that
True.
they
Yeah.
Americanized for us over here. You know,
Right.
it really, this like late 90s, early 2000s, I feel like really kind of, we got more exposed to that side of the world, cinema wise.
Yeah. I could see it. I know that like I had mentioned earlier, Ghost in the Shell. I think that was like mid 90s, and I think that was pretty popular over here. Akira, I think,
Yeah,
was a lot of like the first like anime that a lot of people saw here, and
definitely. Yeah.
this was after too, like what's it called, Kung Fu, that show we had talked about it, how it's in
Yeah.
Office
Yeah.
Space. I love Kung
Yeah.
Fu.
Yes. I love Kung Fu.
Yeah, I think
Should come
was
over
that the
my phone.
70s or the 80s?
That was the 70s.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's kind of like a slow trickle, but you can kind of track that path of like Chinese, Japanese, Asian like movies basically
Right.
kind of make
And
their way
then
over here, and I'm sure Matrix played a part in it too.
definitely. And that's when, of course, Jackie Chan was getting really big,
Yep.
like the Rush Hour movies, and his movies would get brought over here. They'd edit them, but they were getting brought over here and actually making money.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jackie Chan became like a Hollywood star with like the Rush Hour movies and the Shanghai Noons and all that.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Oh wow, Jackie Chan, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jackie Chan, wow.
Yep. But the fighting is fun. Like it's cool, and they really do like the poses and stuff, which maybe I think are a little cliche now, like when he beckons to the Agent Smith to come get him. Yeah. But still, I bet at the time people were like, yeah, this is the shit.
I was still hyped.
Even still. Yeah, definitely. That the fight scene with the agent is fun, at the
Or
end.
Morpheus with the agent in the bathroom
Yep.
when he
I-
gets
of course, Neo
that
Morpheus.
always stood out. I remember that being a lot longer. This time watching, I was like, wow, I remember that like going on forever and ever as a kid, but that
Mhm.
went by a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slow motion
They
of
kinda
get
Morpheus
zapped
busting
pretty
I
through
don't
the
know
wall.
why.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, all the drywall on them and everything. Yeah.
Mhm. He's a headbutter.
Yeah.
That's like his
Yeah,
signature
yeah.
move. I thought it was cool. They said that like the Wu Ping, he kind of played to everyone's strengths, like when he was training them. And so he said like Lawrence Fishburne is very like stout and solid, like built, so he kind of fights that same way. Whereas like Trinity is way more like she fights like a cat, She's
Mhm.
got
Oh, that's
I
cool.
think he said feminine grace. I think was
That's
the word
it,
he used.
yeah.
It's pretty funny.
That's cool.
Yeah. And Neo, I mean, he does his own thing. Smith is kind of like Agent Smith is sort of like cold and calculating.
Yeah.
Played him really
I
well.
I watching this one, I forgot there were like other agent, because I think in the sequels it's just like a bunch of him.
Yeah,
But
especially
in
the
this
second
there's
one.
like in this one there's like other actors portraying other agents.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were two other agents, and then they didn't really do much. They actually just leave at the end when Neo
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we
Yeah.
don't want it.
Yeah,
get
they
the
kinda
fuck
just-
out of here.
Yeah.
Which when Smith is
They allow it.
interrogating Morpheus in the chair, he's like explaining like he needs to find the last civilization of humans so he can finally just get out of here and get out of this program, because he keeps on smelling like the stench of humans, I guess.
Mhm, mhm.
And he feels like
Yeah.
dirty from it all. So he
Humans
just
are the
wants to end
virus.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
he's
tell
like,
me
"You're a
where they are.
virus.
Yeah.
Humans
That was
are a
interesting.
virus."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that one went over my head when I was a kid.
Oh, same, dude. I was just
Yeah.
like, I have no clue what the hell he's talking about.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the guns and
Yeah, where's the
the
fighting?
bullet time and everything. Yeah, the kung fu. Yeah, let's get back to that.
Bring up the helicopter minigun now.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool shot when they jump out and meet Morpheus.
Yeah, they
and
catch each
Neo.
other. That was cool.
Badass.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Shit,
Yeah,
the whole
that's a
thing
good-
is like kind of balls to the wall for like 20 minutes there. As soon as they
Yeah.
rescue him, it just goes crazy after that.
Yeah.
Well, then they get out, but then no, Neo doesn't get out. That's right. He has to stay because they shoot the phone.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that's
You were
right.
talking about Smith's fighting style, and I like the top-down shot of when he has Morpheus against the wall and he's just giving him a bunch of punches in the belly,
Yeah,
like super
yeah.
fast, and then it changes to real life Morpheus and he's getting
Yeah.
sitting in his chair.
Yeah,
fucked
that was good.
Love that part.
Yeah, there is a cool. It's in the second movie, but I really like the fight when they're at like the playground.
That always
Ne-
stood out to me. Yeah, yeah.
Neo fighting all the Agent Smiths, and he's got like
Yeah.
the pole and stuff.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
remember playing the video
Yeah.
game version of that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was
That sounds
crazy.
familiar. Yeah.
Taking on all the Smiths.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
do. I don't remember what happens to the other agents, if they talk about it or if Smith just kind of overtakes him. I got this by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I think
don't
in the second
remember.
movie that does happen. He's like, well, I'll just do it myself then.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Smith, he wants to get out. So what is he gonna, he wants to basically, he's trying to get Morpheus to give him the, like, he's like, you have the key and I need the key to get out of here. Like,
Mhm.
so once he, like, what's, do you know, like, what Smith's gonna do? He's just gonna say bye-bye to the Matrix and go somewhere else? Like,
That's
That
I'm
must
not
be his
sure.
programming is he needs to hunt everybody down and then he can finally rest or
Okay.
like
Something like that, yeah. That makes
die.
sense.
I don't know.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
maybe there's other programs. He does talk about how, like, the first program where everyone was happy and it didn't work because humans
that's
thrive
right.
on unhappiness.
Yeah, he's like,
and
yeah, the first
suffering.
Matrix was a failure. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So maybe there's
yeah.
another one. I don't know that. I don't know. That's kind of
Maybe
interesting to
so.
think about because that expands it even more.
Yeah, maybe so. Again, so much more I picked up this time.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I watched Rick and Morty, so now I understand all these ideas. Yeah,
That's pretty
first
good.
I smoked weed since the last rewatch of Matrix, so now I get it, bro.
Yeah,
But
I was
really, I
getting-
mean, it does have some of those, like, hit blunt moments.
I
Hits
smoked
blunt.
some weed before I watched it. I got a little creeped out
Yeah,
That's
man.
funny.
when he woke up
'Cause
in the real world. I was like, oh,
Because it makes you
Yeah.
think. I mean, I really do like think about
Yep.
simulation theory and stuff sometimes. And when he's like, humans are the virus, I always be thinking that when I see, like, that big what's it called, the plastic, like, island in the middle of the ocean.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, it's
Yeah.
us, we are the virus. And
Yep.
there's something to be said for that.
when Morpheus
Definitely.
is explaining the history, he says that they were at war. They didn't know who shot the first shot, but humans blocked out the sun, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah, because the machines ran on solar energy.
Yeah.
Again, never understood that as a kid, ever. I was just like, I don't give a fuck why it's all dark.
Yeah.
And yeah, they explain it.
Did it to
It almost
ourselves.
kind of Terminator-y almost.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Machines
Yeah.
took over.
I watched
you
a
know?
video of, like, comparing Terminator and Matrix, and there's a ton of similarities.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the man versus
Yeah.
machine battle, like, in general, and just the
Yeah.
post-apocalyptic vibes, and how, like, we kind of did
Yeah.
it to ourselves.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
that's so funny to me, though. Like, they block out the sun, which was stupid as fuck. And then
I know.
and then they just are like,
Yeah.
all right, well, we'll just use you. Like, you're the farm then.
Yeah. You're the
Yeah.
battery.
Harvest you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're our batteries. Yeah. I know. I thought that too. I'm like, why the fuck are you gonna block out this? Yeah. Isn't there like a Simpsons episode where they do that or something?
Oh, I don't know. Probably
Sounds
I
the
swear to God,
Simpsons,
there's a
Simpsons did it,
Simpsons
man.
episode where they block. Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, the South Park. Yeah.
Yeah. Simpsons did
It's like, isn't Butters trying to? Yeah, Butters is trying to do that. He's trying to block out the sun. It's like, didn't they do that in a Simpsons episode?
it. That's so great. Yeah, it probably all comes back to the Matrix. Another video game I played, Half-Life, the Half-Life series. They have a guy called the G-Man, which is already, like, kind of
Oh
the
my
standard,
God.
but he totally reminds me of Agent Smith, just like the way he talks.
Definitely.
Because he in the second game, like,
Definitely.
he talks to you in the beginning. I think the first one you never hear him talk, you just see him, like, kind of hidden, but he's like
Yeah.
wake up, Mr. Freeman, and, like, just that
Oh my
Mr.
God,
Anderson.
Yeah.
So many
that's
many of the
right,
characters
yeah.
in this movie talk very, like, measured, Morpheus, Neo might just be Keanu Reeves, but, like, Morpheus, Agent Smith,
Yeah.
there's no, like, up and downs like Mouse where he's, like, kind of excitable and stuff. It's just more like, all the time I always talk like this, and, like, you're going to choose, Neo, like, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Like a robot or a program.
Yeah, a bit, definitely.
That part when they're practicing kung fu in the dojo, Morpheus and Neo.
Mhm.
Morpheus at one point through the fighting says, is that area really breathing right now? And immediately Neo, like,
Yeah.
stops huffing and puffing. He stops huffing.
Right,
Like,
yeah,
just, like,
yeah.
showcased after that. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mind, man.
Yeah.
There is no spoon.
There is no
That-
spoon.
That was funny to me that it's like a
There is
little
no
British
spoon.
girl
It's
randomly.
it's a guy apparently.
Oh, really?
What?
A male. Yeah, it's a male. It's just a really young.
The
young
male
boy.
oracle. Because I thought they were all
Interesting.
females. Yeah. But because they say the potential others or something like that. I didn't know if they were saying that to eventually become the Oracle, or if they're saying that to just be people that can, I don't know,
The
bend
one.
the Matrix, basically. Yeah.
Hmm.
And it's clear like people can, like, obviously Trinity and Morpheus wouldn't be able to like jump high like they can, and the kid shouldn't be able to bend the spoon, but like other people, it seems like they have the power to a little bit, but then Neo can like totally manipulate when he just stops the bullets at the end, you know.
Yeah.
I was wondering why he doesn't just start like run through walls and stuff. He can see it as the program, that shot where that's probably one that doesn't live up as well as like the when he's looking at the agents and like everything is all like Matrix symbols, you know, all of a sudden it's like code. He sees it and he gets it. I understand now. I don't think he actually says that, but
Right.
he says you're empty when he doesn't have his gun.
Oh,
And
Right.
supposedly like that might symbolize like his brain is empty, like he's finally let go of everything and he's understood. Yeah, double entendre.
Yeah,
That's a
there
good
we
one.
go.
Yeah. And
I had to look it up. What were you gonna say, Roman? I'm sorry.
I was gonna go into other stuff. You know, I got the ADHD, so I was gonna start talking about numbers, but you could go ahead.
I just want to say, so the blocking out the sun, it was from one of the best Simpsons episodes, in my opinion, is a two-parter, Who Shot Mr. Burns. So Mr. Burns constructs a giant disc that will permanently block out the sun in Springfield, forcing the residents to continuously use the electricity from his power plant.
That's funny.
I'm sorry, I had to look that up. It was bugging the hell out of me.
I didn't know that was the plot to that episode. That's
Simpsons
funny.
did it.
Yeah.
That's like probably the best Simpsons episode.
Yeah, Who Shot
that
Mr.
episode-
Burns is famous.
Yeah,
Dude,
that one stands out all the
my
time.
friend sent me a picture. They were having Vegas bets for like odds to like who shot him when the episode aired. Isn't that nuts?
That show was freaking huge, and
It was, man. I know.
And who was it at the
Fucker's
end?
still going. Maggie Simpson. Spoiler. Sorry.
Spoiler alert.
I haven't seen it yet.
Sorry. The little baby shot him.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm sorry. I had to go into that. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Well,
what about the numbers?
The numbers, what do they mean? Numerology is like a very common thing in movies and stuff. Like Lost is what, you know, the numbers, what do they mean? Like the lost numbers or whatever. We were talking about how his passport expires on 9/11. I was listening to the last podcast guys talk about 9/11, and they have like a 3-episode series on it, and the third one is kind of like a deep dive into like the numerology and symbols and magic and what it all means, you know, like flight 11 and flight 77 or whatever it is, you know, all these things. But there's a lot of numbers in this too, you know, Neo being the 1, like Trinity means 3, you know. I always was looking for a 2. I don't really know who Morpheus doesn't mean 2. Morpheus is actually, his name means something too. It's some mythology, like he's the god of dreams or something like that, which is kind of ironic. Yeah. Cypher
Trinity
apparently
also
means
maybe like a Bible reference, like
the Holy Trinity. Yeah, true. The 3 of them, maybe, because this is the 3 of them at the end.
Right. Yeah.
They're like the 3 saviors, kind of. But yeah, I never really found anything that said 2. But I know the agents are 0 in the Matrix and stuff like that. I think like Agent Smith, when he pops up, and they're like at the beginning, it's like a 0 that pops up, and that's how they know something's wrong. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to look back at it to properly know, but apparently, like Cypher is supposed to be like the Arabic number for 0 is Sifr or something like that. So he's like 0.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
and
cool.
like, yeah. So of course, you know, the Matrix, I think it's supposed to be based off binary too, a little bit, and that's all 0s and 1s and stuff like that.
So when there's a glitch in the Matrix, it's because of deja vu. You see 2 things.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know.
Maybe that is. Yeah, probably. I love that too. A glitch in the Matrix. That's just kind of like something people say.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yep.
That's another one that's made it into like just our lives, you know, our culture.
One thing I wanted to ask you, Roman, since you're a basketball fan, do you remember Sean Marion?
Yeah.
Matrix. The Matrix.
Agent 0. Yeah.
Yep.
They called him Agent 0 Matrix.
Yeah. Yep.
He had the weirdest, like, well, actually, I shouldn't say the weirdest. There's other weird ones, but he had one of the weirdest shots in the NBA, like his free throw thing. He would like basically hold his arms above his head and kind of chuck it.
Right.
Yeah.
No way.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
remember that. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, another like some other numbers. I think Neo lives in apartment 101, if I remember right.
I was trying to
And he's
figure
the
out what that
one.
meant.
Oh, I didn't even catch that. Maybe is that
Yeah,
a binary code reference, maybe, or something? Or
I
or
looked it
just the
up
ones. I don't
in
know.
binary and I couldn't find anything that it translates
Mm,
to.
okay.
yeah, might just. I think it's just the one, the symbology, the
zeros.
numerology, the one. Yeah, and then also Trinity. She lives in apartment 303. That's the beginning. They break down the door and it says 303. And then at the end, when Neo is like getting out of the Matrix for the last time, they say like run to apartment 303, and he like has to run through the building. And yeah, so I think something about her being in 3, him being in 1, there must be something there with Trinity. They named the character Trinity for a reason, but I don't know, I couldn't really connect it. Maybe it's in the later movies too, because this is kind of like, it does establish a lot of things, leaves some loose ends for the sequels. So it's hard. It like if you looked at this movie on its own, the ending would be no good because there's no real resolution besides getting out Morpheus and getting out of the Matrix. But yeah, I mean the numbers are just all through the whole thing. We had talked about it a little bit before, the name of the ship, Nebuchadnezzar. I already forgot how to say it. But above it, there's like, it was like Mark 3 edition 11 or something like that. And like 311, Mark 311 is a certain Bible verse and all these things, like it was something about basically like people knowing who the true God was, like he was really him. And that's supposed to obviously be Neo. And like, man, the freaking biblical and mythology references going through this and the numbers, there's just so much to unpack. But I like that. I like that you can probably rewatch it a bunch of times and notice different things, little small things.
Definitely.
Still have a good time watching it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the numbers. What do the numbers mean?
That's funny.
Yeah. And
It's
another thing
one.
something else I thought was funny was reading how many people like read the script and were like, this is way too confusing. Like,
Yeah.
we're not going to get, people aren't going to get it. It's going to flop.
I read that. Yeah.
And I mean, I think maybe the reason it works is because you can watch it like how we did when we were young and still have a good time. And you can rewatch it now that we're older and understand things a little more and be like, whoa, like there's some cool shit in here, like some very interesting ideas.
One thing I will say, and I kind of still think this, but there is a lot to get out of this movie. But I told my friend the other day that we were going to be talking about this, and he said something along the lines of like, oh yeah, the movie that turned so many 13-year-olds into philosophers.
Definitely.
Like that. It's like, oh yeah, I saw the Matrix and oh man, I understand life now,
Yeah. It is. That's why I thought it was so funny that people said it was too complex, because it does seem a little like surface level philosophy to me.
But there is stuff there. Like,
deeper stuff.
Watching it again, like I picked up on, it wasn't just all, just your kind of run of the mill action movie.
Yeah. It's like, you guys, have you ever heard that copy paste thing of the Rick and Morty, where it's like, to be fair, you have to have a very high IQ to enjoy Rick and Morty, like blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And that kind of reminds me of Matrix at some parts.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. There was another one too I was thinking of, but now I can't. Inception. A lot of people, when they saw Inception, were like, I don't get it. And people were like,
yes.
You don't get it. Like, it's different.
Yeah. Like this movie, it broke new ground.
Yeah.
This is groundbreaking. I remember South Park made fun of that, and it was actually kind of funny.
Yeah. I'm sure South Park has a take on Matrix somewhere. I can't.
I'm sure
I can't
they
think
do.
of an episode.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure they do.
Because they were going. Matrix came out during the show's run. Like, well, it's still going, but it was already going before Matrix.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
So
yeah,
but that's another connection there, because Will Smith turned it down to play in Wild Wild West instead.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's
and
wacky.
you had told me, Ian, that comes out with Wild Wild West and the South Park movie premiere on the same weekend.
We were talking about that great South Park episode where Cartman's dressed up as Will Smith from Wild Wild West. Like, Wild Wild West, wicked, wicked, Wild Wild West. He's singing the song and everything. That's one of my favorite South Park episodes.
That's a great
And
one. I don't even remember what
appar-
episode it is, but I know it's good.
apparently the reason why they did that is because South Park movie and Wild Wild West came out the same weekend. It was like 4th of July weekend that year.
Summer
And
blockbusters.
Wild Wild West just made a bunch of money. And the Trey Parker and Matt Stone think the reason why it made so much money is a lot of teenagers went and bought Wild Wild West tickets and snuck into South Park.
Wild Wild West is PG-13, and South Park
Yeah,
was like,
it
was it
R.
unrated?
It was
Okay,
R.
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the episode. I looked it up. It's the one with the cats.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The cat. Yeah.
Kidneys
The
cheesed out of
cat
his
orgy.
mind.
Wait, is that's the title of the episode? Cat orgy, right?
Yeah, it's cat.
Yeah, man. That one is so great.
Wait,
He keeps
is that the one where Kenny's cheesing? It is, right?
No. That's another one.
Oh, there's
But-
multiple cat episodes.
Yeah. That one's great too because Cartman keeps on quoting aliens like they mostly come at night, mostly.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
He's like watching aliens on TV.
Mostly. Yeah.
Mostly, yeah. His Cartman accent.
Yeah. So you got to think with all the references South Park makes, there's got to be some Matrix stuff. I just can't think of it right now.
Oh, definitely.
I was thinking it was the cheesing one, but I think that is a newer one.
Yeah,
is it
that's a
heavy
funny
metal?
episode too. The heavy metal, yeah, man.
When Kenny's
God.
riding and like the big boob chick.
Yes, that's a great episode too.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, man.
Oh man. Did you know one thing I really liked about Matrix? The phones. They're always using those like old flip
I
phones.
like how they like
they shoot
they,
out.
they like shoot. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. That was
like
really cool.
that would be cool to like press a button. You got the sunglasses on, the leather coat. I'm sure people were emulating that in 2001.
And
Don't know
phone
those
booths.
raves.
Yeah.
They had phone
Phone
booths in
booths.
this
Out the
movie
phone
too.
booths.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of interesting
Yeah.
that the phone is the way out.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen that in other stuff as
Yeah,
well.
that is interesting. Yeah, that is interesting.
It sort of reminds me of like I think I might have mentioned Fallout earlier, but Fallout, it takes place in like 2077 or 2177 or whatever it is, but
Right.
it's after it's like the atomic age was what was happening and we nuked each other to shit. And
Right.
so like culture kind of stayed in the 1950s.
Yeah, right.
That's kind of how I feel about Matrix, even though like, it's that same kind of idea of like retro futurism. Like this is what they thought it would look like in the future. Like, I know that the Matrix takes place in 99 within the Matrix itself, but even like on the ship and stuff, it's just kind of funny how now you can look back at it like 22 years later or whatever and be like, this is what we thought, the future would be like, and it's definitely not. We didn't have landlines.
They're still using like 4x3 screens and everything,
Yeah.
and like really kind of archaic keyboards and everything.
Yep, definitely. Something I noticed, screens and stuff, when Neo wakes up and like somewhere around the middle of the movie and he goes up to Cypher, who's like watching the computer screens, Cypher gets like surprised. He's like, oh, Neo, you scared me. And it's right before he gives him like that drink or whatever, but he turns off like a bunch of the side monitors. And I'm watching it knowing that he's going to be the traitor. And I think, well, actually, you already know, I think at that point in the movie, but I wonder like what that's supposed to be. Was he communicating with the agents or was he watching or something?
Maybe, yeah.
That's a possibility. Or he said, oh yeah, this code, like, oh yeah, I don't see it as code anymore. I see it as that one's a brunette, that one's a blonde, that one's a redhead.
Yeah, right,
Is he
yeah.
watching he is not watching porn, is he?
It could be.
It could be. That's funny. That's hilarious.
No,
Yeah,
but he's
that's
probably
when-
talking to the agents. That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah, because like he even brings that, he's like, I know what you're thinking, right? Why didn't I take the blue pill? He's already kind of like spouting his like this place sucks. I don't want to be here
Mhm.
Definitely.
thing.
He's the only one too that does that. Everybody else is
Yeah.
like glad that they're awake,
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you guys seen the JFK movie?
Yeah, with
Oliver
Kevin
Stone.
Costner.
Yeah, I remember when
Yeah.
Kevin Costner's like, I've been asleep my whole life, like I'm awake for the first time.
Yeah.
That same kind
I
of
like
idea.
that movie. That movie gets a lot of shit because it's not necessarily accurate most of the time, but I like it a lot.
Yeah, it was fun. I
It's a
mean,
pretty
lot of cool
entertaining
people,
movie.
a lot of good actors.
Oh, there's a bunch of people in that movie. Yeah, it's got a really good cast.
I like conspiracy stuff.
Me too. Yeah. That's to me, that's the granddaddy of all conspiracy theories too. So
For sure.
I can spend like days and days like researching that.
Yeah, I had shouted them out before, but last podcast they did a really, really good JFK series.
I'll have to listen to that.
It's like 4 or 5 parts.
That's understandable.
Last
Yeah.
podcast did?
Yeah, they were real
Whoa.
into it. And well, I don't know, maybe I should not spoil it, but they had a kind of a theory that I hadn't heard before when they end, that basically just like it was legit an accident.
What?
Like an
accident?
Yeah, well, okay, so I mean, sorry, we're talking about Matrix, but they think
No, please,
that,
please, I want to hear that.
Yeah.
or at least Marcus, the kind of informative guy, he thinks that it was a Secret Service agent in the limo behind, and like basically the first shot got fired by whoever, maybe Lee Harvey Oswald, and so they sped up to get out of there, and when they did, like he got thrown backwards kind of and shot, and like it just happened to be right at JFK. It sounds ridiculous, but when he explained it after listening to like 10 hours of stuff on it, I was kind of like, yeah, it sort of makes sense in a way.
That's
kind of out there.
ridiculous.
That's crazy.
I've never heard that.
I've never heard
Yeah.
that either. That's crazy.
And it was funny because I was like, oh, this is a new one that I haven't heard. Like even now, like 50, 60 years later, like we're still hearing new shit. Well, actually, yeah, it was the 60s, right?
63.
70s.
Yeah.
63. Thanks. Yeah. Movie I would give a 5 though.
I know.
I'm so picky.
Yeah, I
when it
know,
comes to
man.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely not a good movie critic. So I would say
we
like
all-
4.5.
Are any of us?
Yeah, I don't know.
Say 4.5?
4.5. And when I say that, I'm trying to think of why it's not a 5. And I can't really think of any reasons. Like you could say some of the CGI, maybe some of the acting, like Keanu mostly. But it's just so unique and stylistic that like it's hard to say any of those things aren't on purpose, or even if they weren't, that they didn't just work in the end. I think it did. Like the editing is really good. The cinematography was really good. Freaking the story is really cool, and like especially now it's so hard to look back on it. It's just like I said, it's in the zeitgeist, it's in us, the Matrix. Like it's so
Definitely.
well known. And so yeah, I don't know, somewhere between 4.5 and 5 probably. Because I don't know, is there even a part that's slow? Really? I can't even think of.
That's a good point. Not really.
Maybe
Yeah,
the
this
Oracle
movie
part.
moves- Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
You could
You know.
argue.
Because this
Yeah.
movie's like 2 hours, 15 minutes, I want to say. And
Mhm.
I wouldn't cut any. I mean, maybe some, but I think it moves pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of parts that
I think it's got
moves
really good
quick
pacing.
for a lot of it. The
Yeah.
fights, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we didn't even talk
And-
about probably what's one of my favorite scenes, the beginning, when he's in his cubicle and he's guiding him. Morpheus is guiding him.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a
Have
cool
you
scene.
have you guys ever seen the Chappelle Show version of that? Where
That
it's,
sounds
Yeah.
familiar.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah. Yeah.
that's
That
a
shit is
funny one.
hilarious. Yeah.
It's guiding him through. He's like, "Gotcha, motherfucker."
Yeah.
But yeah, that's another iconic one,
God.
So it's like freaking banger after banger on these scenes, like iconic scene, iconic dialogue, cool fighting, like cool shots. It's really cool to see. I don't know what you would call it, not like a grandfather of certain movies, but an inspiration. Ian, you touched on it earlier, like it's cool to see kind of the foundation of a lot of these other movies and stuff like that,
Right.
or certain parts anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for that shit, I could say 5 out of 5. No movie's perfect, but
True.
it's pretty damn good. Matrix is pretty damn good.
What'd you think?
I was a
Ian?
little worried after I picked Matrix. Sorry, Carlos, but
No.
I was just a little worried. Like I was like, shit, I haven't seen Matrix in a long time. Like maybe it's kind of corny and cheesy, but
I was worried too.
Yeah.
because the 90s are a funny time. There's funny shit like the sunglasses and leather, but it
Brandon,
works.
I really wish we talked about Woodstock 99, and I really like that kind of almost goes into this a little bit with the 90s and everything. I wish you could have been on that episode. I recommend watching that documentary on HBO Max.
Oh yeah, I never heard of it.
'cause-
Woodstock 99.
Oh man, it's interesting. I would
I've
I
heard,
would recommend.
I've heard
it.
about it from you guys. I think.
Okay.
They
Woodstock
brought
might
the
have a little
Matrix
bit.
up in that
They
documentary.
do. I was gonna bring certain aspects of the Matrix up when kind of talking about its release and
Mhm.
1999 overall and film and whatnot. But
Yeah.
well, I was gonna ask you guys if you had any criticisms on the Matrix, if you could think of any.
Man. Well, I had gone in a little bit about the CGI and certain stuff.
Oh, okay.
You
Okay.
could probably say that for any movie, though. If you're going to be
True.
using computer graphics in the 90s, it's
True.
obviously not
Like I
gonna
said,
look as
even like
good.
CGI nowadays, sometimes it's like, oh, that didn't look good
Mhm.
Yeah.
to me at least.
Yeah, I thought they
Um,
mixed it pretty well with practical stuff a lot
Yes.
of times in the movie. In the-
One thing, I was there's this part, like when Morpheus is captured and they're kind of like by him in his chair. In the real world, it's like Tank and Trinity and Neo, and Tank's like, hey man, you got this, man. You're a fighter, you're like a father figure to all of us. And it's like we never really see Morpheus actually, like, it's just, oh, Morpheus is such a great. We never really see him like actually like why he's so great.
yeah,
At least
right.
in my, you know what I mean? It's just like, oh, he's just great. Like, don't
That
ask why. He's
that's a good
trust
point.
us. He's great.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
mentioned
That's
that
great,
he,
you know.
I think, because he says he learned from the first one, the guy that Neo was reborn from. And so I kind of got the feeling that Morpheus was like one of the first people to be awakened out of the Matrix.
Probably.
So
Yeah,
that
probably.
could be it, that he kind of like saved those other people. But yeah, you definitely don't see him being like a father figure to them or anything like that.
And also, it's like, how did the humans start waking up? You know?
Yeah, I think that they do talk about that a little bit when in that same scene when he's talking about the first one that woke up. That, well, that's a good point though. Like he's the first guy that figured out he could manipulate the Matrix. But I don't know how he got from there to being out into the real world and bringing other people with him. They don't really talk about that, at least
Yeah.
on the first movie.
And
Maybe-
that's just that's I guess me nitpicking.
Hmm.
That's just one, like, those were scenes where I was just like, wait, what? Like,
Yeah, well,
yeah. But that's just me.
Maybe the resistance freed a couple people who were asleep.
But how did the
people who were left
resistance? But
from-
how did the resistance get freed?
They were
'Cause
never
when the-
enslaved because it was.
Oh,
Oh, they were like
before-
originally there.
Zion and stuff, I guess.
Okay.
Maybe
Zion's the final
Okay,
human
I see.
civilization. So
I see.
they've been cut down.
underground.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's a good.
Nice.
They probably go into that in either the sequels or the Animatrix.
They probably do.
Yeah, because like I said, they really did a good job, I thought, of world building and like making this whole setting. Like I thought it was really cool. There's a lot of like threads that you could pull at and like unravel and,
Yeah.
and figure out all this cool stuff. So
Yeah.
that's definitely one of the strengths, I think, of the movie. As a standalone, but I know it's part of a trilogy too.
hmm
Right. Do you think this was planned, like, to be like? Do you think they plan on sequels, or do you think they just made sequels because this made so much money?
Well, it seems planned, at least by the end, like, because they say now
Yeah.
they're not done yet and there's still shit to do. And,
Right.
it seems like it was
That's
planned,
true.
but I don't know. That's a good question. I
I
don't
feel
know
like
if they
it
planned
could
to
have
do three.
also been its own. Like, and apparently they're making a fourth one, which Carlos never talked about. Like, I don't.
Oh,
Dude, it says, I even told Carlos on the poster for the third movie, because I was looking it up. It says like every beginning has an end,
mhm.
and it's like, oh, but here's the fourth one.
Yeah.
Like,
It's probably like a
I don't
flat
know.
prequel or something.
I don't think so, because, well, maybe because Keanu Reeves, spoiler alert, but Keanu Reeves dies right at the end of the third one.
Oh, I don't
I
remember
thought
that.
Right, you
Trinity dies at the
sacrifice-
end of the third one.
I thought he dies too, though, because Trinity does die. Again, I haven't seen this in well over 15 years,
Mhm.
but Trinity, I remember, definitely dies. But I thought Neo dies too.
Hmm.
He like sacrifices himself, because then at the end, the Oracle,
Huh.
she's just kind of sitting on a bench with like this little girl, and they're like, oh, everything is right in the world,
Hmm.
or something. I don't know. I need to rewatch them.
Sacrificed himself. Yeah, they could go all kinds of ways with it, I'm sure.
He dies for their sins.
Yeah.
Again, the
There it
Jesus. But what was I can't remember what I was talking about. Oh, the sequels, if they plan on making sequels. Because really, you could kind of almost like, like this could even be its own little story,
Yeah.
just one movie. But it's gotta have sequels.
Yeah, that would be interesting to know actually, like if they had planned to do it as a 3-part or maybe just a 2 or maybe a standalone and it just became more because I know that there definitely wasn't a lot of confidence in it beforehand.
And it's so funny because like this is very like Carlos and I looked it up, they spent $63 million on it.
Mhm.
It's not cheap
No,
yet.
definitely not.
The Wachowskis had only done like one movie before, and like I guess the studio really trusted them
Damn.
because it's not a cheap movie, especially all the effects at the time. I'm sure were very costly and everything, and paying the actors' salaries and whatnot.
Right. Yeah. It definitely took a gamble and it paid off for them.
Yeah, definitely.
Because man, freaking all the, not just the movies, but video games. And they probably had all kinds of merchandise and stuff.
Yeah.
And now they're making a 4th one. Oh.
Yep.
Money grab. But I don't know. It could be good. I don't know of many like movies that follow up sequels like 20 years later and still end up being good.
I know. Yeah.
But hey, we might be surprised.
You never know. Yeah. You never know. Exactly.
Yeah. So
you're giving it a 5 out of 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5. I don't know if that means it's the best movie ever, but it's
well, I know what you mean.
Somewhere up there on my top 100.
I know what you mean because it's like that's your 5 out of 5. It's like that's just what you look for. It's like set aside like really all the critiques that people can make. It's like it comes down to like whether you liked it, you had a fun time watching it. Really, that's kind of all it comes down to. What you got out of it, So if it's a 5 out of 5 for you, then that works for me.
Yeah. What did you think? What were you guys' thoughts?
Carlos, you want to go first?
You go easy.
Me? To rate it, I'd probably give it we are doing halves.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. I'd probably go 3 out of 5. Or 3.5 out of 5, excuse me. 3.5. Because I'd rather, there's other movies I would rather watch, even from this time, like 90s action movies. Maybe even like Keanu Reeves. Honestly, like I might rather watch maybe the John Wick movies, to be honest with you. I don't know. There's a lot of nostalgia with the Matrix movies I have still. It's really tough. It's it definitely has its place in movie history and even our culture now. But at the same, I was kind of saying like maybe there was probably like a reason why I hadn't watched it in so long. It's just because it's like I don't know, like I'd maybe rather watch something else. And
yeah, and when you look at runtime, 2 hours and 15 minutes is a little intimidating for sure. You're like, oh, do I want to like sit here and watch,
right?
135?
That's a long movie,
even though it goes fast.
But it went fast, and because I even said that about Suicide Squad. Like I felt like they could have taken like 20 minutes out of that movie.
Yeah.
This movie, however, like it really, there was really not a time where I was like, okay, come on, let's get going here. Like it flowed pretty well for me.
Get going.
But yeah. But yeah, I give it probably 3.5 out of 5. It's definitely, it's obviously it's a passing grade for sure. It is very good, but at this, I'd probably rather watch other things, or even like thinking of like top movies of the 90s, or I could probably think of a lot of others to put on a list if I were to make one. But at the same time, it is the Matrix. It is it's a definitely a standout. So
yeah.
What about you, Carlos?
I give it a 5 out of 5 after my rewatch.
Okay.
I loved it,
Nice.
dude.
We're easy to please, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. It's
I know I am.
very influential. Yeah, you're picky. It's it's very influential in pop culture in my life. Very heavy on the nostalgia, like you were saying, Ian. Um, Very quotable too. Anytime I'm getting cornered in my video games, I'm like, not like this, not like this. Or you pick up your fighting game. I know kung fu. Yeah, a lot of iconic scenes for me. Anytime I see Lawrence Fishburne in a modern movie, I'm like, oh man, that's Morpheus. Morpheus is in this one. Hell yeah, let's go. This is
Yeah.
gonna be a good movie. Yeah, it's a great movie for me. I love it. But I also agree with you, Ian. I don't think that I would put it on in the background every time. I haven't seen this one in a long time, and like you're saying, there's a reason. It's just good to sit down, revisit, redigest, figure out what you were missing before, and then you can put it back on the shelf or put it back on the streaming shelf.
Yeah.
But no, I liked my my new rewatch.
I gotta show it off.
Oh, what do you got?
I
What do
the
you got?
set
Oh,
here.
very nice.
Yes,
The physical
I got the
media.
set. These are the 4Ks.
the
It's a
4K.
pretty good. It's not the best 4K I've ever seen, but it's pretty good. But so they're in individual cases, which is cool. But look at that cover for the first movie. Doesn't that look
What is
bad?
that?
That's the rabbit.
It's the white rabbit tattoo.
Oh, it's not
Like,
great.
Doesn't that look like kind of like it's like someone just did that like in Photoshop or something?
Yeah.
Like,
Looks like Donnie
why
Darko.
not use that? Because exactly, it's like the original poster for this movie is awesome.
Yeah.
I remember it was the DVD cover, and it was just them on like a gray. It was interesting. It was like gray and purple, which they don't use in the movie, but it works so well for that. That poster is awesome.
Yep.
It's just
The font.
them and just guns. They're holding their guns. Like, it's really badass.
Yeah,
That's
the
right,
sunglasses,
that's
the
right,
guns,
yeah.
and the leather.
Yeah.
Kind of encapsulates the
Yeah.
whole movie.
Yeah, why they didn't use that? No idea. But
Are the other covers like that?
well, they're better. Like,
'Cause is that the
for
trilogy
second
set?
one? That's the trilogy set. Yeah.
Nice.
So well, actually, this is kind of lame. Keys for the second one. I don't really like that
The
either.
Keymaster.
The key. I mean, yeah, the key map, but it's just like, why again? Just use the original.
They went with
poster.
like
And then the
symbology
third-
or something for the covers. It
yeah,
seems like.
it's like just use the original posters. The third one isn't too bad. It's one of those Sentinels.
Mhm.
So
I love the Sentinels. They looked really good in this movie too.
Yeah.
Were they practical?
Yeah, they do
or
look
were
good.
They digital?
I think they were digital. I could be
Oh,
wrong,
wow.
but looking at them, I think they were digital. I could be wrong.
Because it'd probably be real hard to get that practical effect of like the smoothness of them and stuff.
Yeah.
They did a good job.
Yeah.
Really
did.
cool
Yeah, those
design
look
on
good.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably look exactly the same as War of the Worlds, Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
right.
2010 or something, 2005. I don't even know.
Yeah. Mid 2000s. Yeah.
Yeah, but Matrix, they look about the same to me, which is kind of
Yeah,
crazy. You
Definitely.
would think in 5 years, especially in the early 2000s, there would be huge jumps in CGI. But I don't know. I'm not an expert on CGI for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was thinking another maybe knock on the movie, although I don't know. It's not like super visually. It's not like a visual feast for the eyes or anything, but I think that's on purpose. It's supposed to be dystopian and cyberpunk and all that stuff. So maybe it's supposed to be dark and kind of, there's not a lot of color. Definitely.
true. But at the same time, I still, because I might have described it as that earlier, and you're right, and it isn't necessarily, but it's still kind of cool to look at though.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the again, I've always really liked the code against the black background. I always like that image a lot.
Yeah.
There are certain things in this where I'm like, oh, that looks really cool.
Mm-hmm. It just goes to show like another way that it's in my life all the time, even the Matrix. When I first started at our job, and we had that one program that looks just like the Matrix.
Yeah,
It's
the
freaking
black
background
and
and green text.
Yeah, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
I like to
Yep,
crouch
that's
around
funny.
my cubicle too.
Navigate
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
break room.
you're like you're on your phone getting directions to like the cubicle across from you is empty. Run.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go now.
now. People are just looking at you run around the office, sneaking around.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, that's funny.
Yeah. But still, man, Matrix. So we got 5 stars, 5 stars, and 3.5 stars.
Yeah,
Pretty good. It's not bad,
yeah, it's a passing grade.
I-
Did we rate Commando?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know if we did, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I feel like we did.
We might have.
Yeah, we probably did. It's got its own special, I wouldn't judge Commando like I judge Matrix,
No,
different.
yeah.
They got different grading rubrics,
Yes, very true. Very true.
I think Commando I
You guys
would
want-
have playing on the background versus Matrix, where you got to sit down
Same.
and admire and actually
Same.
watch it. and
I'm
digest.
I'm probably more to go back to Commando than Matrix.
Mm-hmm. Matrix is a
Matrix?
little more
And
evolved, I
not
think.
you know, I'm not trying to shit on Matrix at all.
Mhm.
It's just I don't know.
You'd rather
That's-
watch John Matrix than
I'd rather,
Matrix.
yeah. Good old Johnny Matrix.
we I don't know if we ever talked about that. You compared a lot to Rambo, but like John Matrix and John Rambo, that the name John. I think.
Oh,
might have mentioned it.
I didn't even think of that. It's like
Yeah.
the working man's name.
Yeah, standard.
Yeah.
You are John.
Yeah.
Was he John Anderson? No, he was Mr.
Tom
Anderson.
and
Anderson.
Thomas Anderson. Mr. I worked at a dry cleaner, and one of our customers' last name was Anderson, and the guy, my buddy I worked with there, he'd always call him, whenever he walk in, he'd go, Mr. Anderson. all the
Yeah.
time.
Mr. Anderson. I think Tom
Mr.
Anderson is the name of in Beavis and Butthead. the neighbor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Original
yeah.
Hank from King
Hank
of the Hill.
Hill. Yeah, the original. Yeah, the prototype Hank Hill. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh man,
And
that's too good.
shoot, Mike Judge did Office Space, and he also did Idiocracy, and I think Idiocracy
Ooh.
might draw some inspiration from like the Matrix, at least like the vision of the future, like kind of bleak and dark, and I don't know.
Yeah. That's
yeah
funny.
yeah I'm sure there's so many freaking connections you could make between movies and where they drew or what sources they drew inspiration from and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's why that's
Um,
one of the reasons I just love diving into movies, because like you can really make connections. I always love making connections.
yeah, same. It's fun.
Mhm. I get so hyped
So-
when I'll hear a music and I'll hear like a little melody or something that comes from another song. And I'm like, oh, I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like my favorite thing to do.
It's cool.
The very
So,
last scene of
um,
Matrix. What'd you think about it, Ian? Sorry to bring it up.
Well, no, you're fine. When he's in the phone booth and he leaves and he flies off.
Yeah, he puts his glasses on and looks up and flies off.
It's
And then they're playing
fine. It's
Rage Against the Machine.
Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
Wake Up
Yeah.
is the song name.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the 90s.
Yes.
It
Yes.
is the 90s.
Very 1999. I liked it. It's a good way to end the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, almost a little cheesy, but
Mhm.
maybe
A
that's
little
okay.
bit, but it's because he flies a lot in the sequels, from what at least the second one, from what I remember.
Yeah, because I think the whole time you kind of want him to fly.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
come on, Neo, you can do all these cool things. Like, why don't you
Yeah.
just fly around and zip around? Like, you got no clip.
I remember one of the guys is like, oh, he's doing his Superman thing again or something like that. But
It's funny that Will Smith
Yeah, I
ends up
thought it-
playing Hancock, and
oh
it's
my
kind of
god,
similar.
yeah, that's funny.
It could have been Neo. We got Hancock instead.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Do you think that was a good way to end the movie? Roman?
I liked it. I like the Rage Against the Machine,
hmm
very of its time.
Yeah,
Kind of
yeah,
take you home. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Just like, all right, that's
yeah.
it. And it does leave it open. And
Yeah,
for
leaves
a
it open for
sequel,
the
which
sequels,
obviously they had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I think it's just basically showing you, like, yeah, Neo is like the shit. He's the one.
Too
obviously.
OP, please nerf.
Yeah. Yeah, for real. Yep, the Messiah himself, Neo.
What were you gonna bring up, Ian?
Well, I just do you guys want to talk about like other, because again, 1999 was a big deal, and also this movie came out at a very interesting time of the year that I wanted to bring up too. Do you guys want to talk about that, at least for? I'll make it as brief as I can, so we don't
Yeah, shoot.
over jargon this.
Sure, yeah.
Shoot some.
So, well, I have I'll bring this up first, since I got it in front of me. I got the domestic box office for 1999, and The Matrix was fifth. It made, and this is just US, obviously domestic. It made $171 million, 171.5 roughly.
Damn, that was
And-
fifth.
Yeah, The top, the ones that beat it, Toy Story 2 was 4. Austin
Whoa.
Powers, the Spy Who Shagged Me was 3. The Sixth Sense was number 2. I wasn't expecting that.
Dang.
I was expecting it to be in the top 10, but not number 2. That took me by surprise. And I think you guys know what number 1 is. I don't know if I need to say it or not, but I think we all know.
Eastside Jar Jar Binks.
Number 1 was.
What was?
Yeah, you goddamn
Was he in the
right.
first? Is he in the Phantom Menace? Actually, I don't know.
He's in the Phantom Menace.
Okay.
He's in the Phantom Menace.
Those are movies I haven't seen
Yeah.
in a long time. The prequels.
I don't blame you. in my opinion, I do not blame you.
Me and Ian rewatched the whole saga recently. I think last year.
I the prequels in the original trilogy.
Oh, you
I didn't
skipped
watch
the.
I didn't watch the sequels again.
It's okay. They
Four,
were the
five, and
worst
six.
ones.
Or 7, 8, and 9.
Oh.
Those are the ones that didn't. Just because I don't know,
I haven't
like
even seen them all.
they're still fresh in my mind, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Matrix, it took fifth. And you know, when I think of movies like this, of course you always think they came out during the summer, because you know that's when the big blockbusters usually come out. I mean, that's pretty much, aside from Toy Story 2 came out in November, but Austin Powers came out June, Sixth Sense came out in August, Star Wars came out in May, and The Matrix came out March 31st.
Hmm.
You don't hear that very much.
No, not really.
Yeah.
And one thing, 1999 was a big, it was a very big topic that year of gun control and gun violence because of the Columbine shooting. And this movie, to me, is incredibly fortunate that it came out March 31st, because Columbine happened April 20th. Yeah, they were really, really fortunate for that release date, because I don't know if they would have released it after Columbine with the people walking around with guns and trench coats shooting.
Definitely. Do you think that did they ever say if like the kids saw Columbine? I know they played Doom or whatever, but you know.
All I know, movie-wise, I know they liked Natural Born Killers.
Oh yeah, the Woody Harrelson movie.
I don't know. I've only heard The Matrix get brought up because of that comparison, and because it came out
right before 3 weeks
around the same. Isn't that nuts?
That is nuts. You know, in a similar way, I know that like the guy that shot up the theater, now he's kind of always connected with like the Dark Knight, that crazy guy.
Yeah. I remember I was one of the few people to see that movie before that happened, because I went to a midnight release in New York. They did this cool triple feature. They showed Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and then at midnight they showed The Dark Knight Rises.
Dang. Did you do the whole?
I remember
the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
We were
That's a fun triple feature. It was, for sure. I mean, it was
really, really fun. Really, really fun. But yeah, I honestly, I don't know how they could have released it after Columbine, really. I mean, it's because I think people would have been a little too reminded of what happened.
Yeah, the bullets.
You know, again, wearing trench coats, you know, carrying duffel bags,
right,
filled with ammunition. You know, like it's kind of weird.
Fucking
man. Yeah, because I brought it up in our Woodstock 99 episode that a lot of like TV like Buffy the Vampire Slayer TV episodes had to be pushed back until that fall, because like there were like guns in it or something, or just certain things that they were too they thought maybe would make people reminded of Columbine. Like the script for Scream 3 had to be totally rewritten after Columbine.
Wow.
Like a bunch of it affected the entertainment industry a lot.
Our whole culture really actually is, well, fuck, we're a school shooting culture now.
Yeah,
I mean, Americans.
We brought that up
put it back there.
Our Woodstock episode. I like Columbine. It was not the first school shooting, but it was like the first one that gained a bunch of national attention, and it happened in a very affluent area in Colorado, you know, middle America. It definitely scared the hell out of a lot of people. Chris Rock has a funny stand-up about it. He's like, like, I'm afraid of white teenagers now. Like, I'm not afraid of inner city kids. I'm afraid of the kids in the suburbs. It's like, yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah, man. We talk about post Matrix world, post 9/11 world, post Columbine world too. Really,
Yeah,
that's
man.
a big one.
Yeah,
It's like one of those major events that shaped a lot of our culture and stuff.
yeah. And it's sad because like there was a lot of school shootings before then. It's just that was the one for whichever
Well, that was the
reason
one
just
where
really
the shooters got almost like glorified. You know, they got what's the word, martyr
right, yeah.
somewhat. You know, I don't know.
But moving along with basically 1999, it's a lot of good movies. Fight Club came out in 1999.
I didn't know that.
I don't know. Have you guys ever seen Magnolia with Tom Cruise? It's a lot of people in that movie, along with
Only
him.
heard of it, I think.
John C. Reilly. It's a decent movie.
Steel Magnolia?
Just Magnolia. The Stanley Kubrick movie Eyes Wide Shut came out. I still haven't seen that. I need to watch that.
Oh,
That's a
you haven't
trippy
watched that
movie.
one?
I know
Yeah,
that
one's
it's
crazy.
his last movie. He died before he even.
Oh, I did
came
not know
out.
that. Holy shit.
Yeah,
He was
that's one I
editing
need to
it and
watch
then he
someday.
died.
Right. Office Space came out in 1999. South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut came out in 1999. What else?
Wild Wild West, of course.
Yeah, of course. Yes. How could we forget Wild Wild West? So I watched this the other night. I hadn't seen this in a long time. This movie came out in 1999. Have you guys ever seen this? I don't know if you can read it. The Blair Witch Project.
Oh,
really?
I have seen the Blair
Yeah.
Witch Project, but I didn't know it came out. I thought it was later because I know it was like big on the internet, but I guess
Right.
the internet shit been around.
I
since the
think
late
maybe like around Halloween, I think we should talk about that because Carlos is doing his filters.
90s.
Mustache.
You
Mamma
mustache
mia.
man.
Mustache.
It's Luigi.
You got a curl to it. But I think that one's worth making an episode about because that movie is it's very mixed. It's kind of like almost like a love it or hate it movie.
Mhm.
But that was a big deal when that came out. Very big
Yeah,
deal.
that's probably
Just
like The Matrix is, I think, very inspired by like internet. I mean, I know that
Yeah.
Blair Witch isn't inspired, but I know that they're like famous for using the internet as marketing.
And that was like one of the first, like it was very internet based and like that was very kind of novel at the time,
Mhm.
very new. And people thought the actors in it were actually dead in real life. They had
not
missing, and they had like phone numbers. Like if you've seen these people, please call this number. Give any, like they really sold it
Right.
really well into thinking like these people are actually dead. Like
Mhm.
anyway, yeah.
Scary.
But yeah, we already mentioned The Sixth Sense came out.
Mhm.
What else? The Iron Giant came out. You guys ever
Oh,
seen The Iron
nice.
Giant?
Yeah, it's a
Yep.
good one.
I saw that in the theater. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I need to watch that again someday.
I watched that not too long ago. It's cute, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good kids movie.
Mhm.
American Pie came out.
We'll just tell your mother we ate.
Oh, yeah. You could just tell your mother that we ate it all. He's my favorite. That's really like I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of those movies nowadays, but the dad's my favorite character in that by far.
Yeah, my girlfriend
Like,
watched
he-
Schitt's Creek, and he's in that. That's his show, and he's got freaking his
Oh,
eyebrows.
and his son's in it,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, he plays with his son.
His eyebrows.
His eyebrows
eyebrows
are
are
like
bushy
an
as
inch
hell.
thick. Yeah, great eyebrows though.
The
Great.
bushiest of eyebrows. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yes.
that show, just from seeing it as I like walk by or catch an episode or two at a time, was pretty funny. He was good in that.
I need it. Yeah. I need to watch more of it.
He's definitely. Oh, actually, when I think of American Pie, though, I think of Stifler first. But
Yeah,
second is the
yeah.
dad. Yeah.
Yeah. Very true. Being John Malkovich came out. You guys ever seen
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Ooh, that one's trippy too.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. American Beauty. You guys ever seen that?
Mhm.
Oh, is that Kevin Spacey?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I've seen it.
They call it the critical darling of 1999. It won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor for Kevin Spacey.
Oh, wow.
Made
Film
a-
class, we had to watch all of Kevin Spacey's films in high school.
Oh,
You had to watch all of his films?
American Beauty. We watched.
Damn.
What's the
What?
one
Like,
where he's limping away at the end?
oh, Usual Suspects. That's a
Yeah,
good one.
Hmm.
and then a
Did you
couple
guys
other
watch
ones.
Seven?
Usual Suspects. That's
Yes, we
95,
did.
right?
What?
Yeah, I believe so.
1995, I think, for Usual
Somewhere, yeah,
Suspects.
94, 95, somewhere around
Yeah.
there.
I've never seen it though. I remember when we were talking
it's-
about movies from, because we did 75 Jaws, 85 Commando.
Oh, that's right. That's
we were
right.
thinking
Yeah,
95, and I
That's
was like,
right.
oh, Usual Suspects. Like, that's
Yeah. That's interesting.
Matrix. It was.
This Carlos, you said this was high school.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was before Kevin Spacey got in a bunch of trouble.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was I mean, and again, the Matrix, like a lot of movies that really, because like one thing too, watching the Matrix, like I think I kind of brought it up, but there's a lot in it where it's like it still feels kind of contemporary, aside from maybe like the computers, the phones. Like it still kind of feels like it could have been made relatively around like not long ago, at least
Yep.
like to me.
Because I think the
And,
story,
I can-
yeah, it's kind of timeless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I felt the same way. I watched Fight Club again, I think sometime last year, and I felt the same way watching Fight Club. It's like this still, the person I watched it with said the same thing. It's like this doesn't look old. Like this doesn't look like it's over 20 years old.
Yeah, no, you're definitely Fight Club. That's another one. It's like a what is it? You would call it like a mental, like something thriller kind of.
Yeah.
That shit
Definitely.
doesn't. It's not like some movies that are super CGI heavy that aren't going to age well. You know, like
Right.
Transformers probably not going to look so good in 20 years.
No, probably not.
But The Matrix, I thought, did a good job of that, and just the story is really solid.
Yeah.
The ideas. You know, I bet being on the internet, that early internet, that probably helped push it a lot too, because like people wanted to be hackers and things like that. And I remember like as a kid playing games, and so many people had like usernames based off the Matrix and quotes like on forums. You would go on forums and like people's avatars would be like something, or it would be a quote, whatever. Like that shit is just built into like internet culture. The Matrix.
Definitely. Oh yeah.
It's tapped in.
Yeah, exactly. The Green Mile came out in 99.
Oh, that's a great movie. So yeah, you could. There's tons of movies in '99 you could say that might have be better than the Matrix.
Again,
might,
we discussed the Mummy. It's a fun movie. Deep Blue Sea came out in 1999. I know Roman, you like that movie, right?
Yeah, that's a fun movie too.
I like that. Yeah, I like that movie.
I came home the other day. My girlfriend was watching it.
That's cool. It's kind of before shark movies kind of were a total joke.
Definitely.
Yeah, it was a pretty decent year for, I mean, you had your Wild Wild Wests, your I mean, I know Carlos, you really like Phantom Menace, but it's got its issues in my opinion.
And the CGI didn't hold up as well as Matrix.
Yeah.
After my 2 rewatches of these movies.
Oh, talk about a PlayStation 2 game.
Yeah, man. Oh boy. But it was a pretty good year for cinema in my opinion. It was very and again, like turn of the century, a lot of stuff was going on. The internet was taking a whole CGI, had really there's a lot of CGI now.
Yeah.
Which probably really like took off in the early 90s with Jurassic Park and Terminator 2. So by the end, it was really definitely much more prominent in movies.
Yeah, most definitely. Oh, you forgot about Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo.
How could I forget that one? Good old Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider.
Was Deuce Bigelow European Gigolo? Is that
that's a sequel, one? I think.
Yeah, I'm looking at 2005 top box office and European Gigolos right here.
Oh my god. That like time frame, the early 2000s, starting probably with like American Pie. That's like the douchey bro comedies, frat bro comedy, Road Trip and all that stuff.
That's hilarious. Deuce Bigelow was the 50th grossing movie of 1999.
What should we do for our next
I watched
movie?
Sleepy Hollow the other day.
I like Sleepy Hollow. Sleepy Hollow is a good
Yeah,
one.
it's a fun one.
Where are you saying, Carlos? I'm sorry.
What are we doing for our next movie? Should we keep this
Oh, that's a great
theme of the
choice. Or a
decade?
great question.
Oh, that is a good question. I don't know. I mean, we could go into the 2000s and do something, or I don't know.
Because
hop
I'm looking at
around.
2005 right now. They got
Yeah.
Tom Cruise's
Okay.
War of the Worlds,
Revenge of the Sith,
Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Pot in the Goblet of Fire,
My
Chronicles of
favorite,
Narnia.
Peter Jackson's King Kong. That's my favorite.
I like that one.
That one with Jack Black.
Jack Black.
Yes.
Yeah.
I bet that
Ooh.
CGI doesn't look very good.
I need to
haven't
watch
seen it.
that again. I haven't seen that in like 15 years either. I remember liking it a lot when it came out.
Did you guys ever watch Nicolas Cage's Lord of War?
No,
No, I've
I
seen
have
it.
not.
The cover. I've seen like the cover
Yeah,
of it.
I know
but-
of it.
Love that one too.
Okay,
Where he's an
cool.
arms dealer. That one's a good one.
That's cool.
Should we do 2005 or should we do 2009?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe something in that range.
Just in the
somewhere
early
I don't know,
2000s.
2005, like it's 2005 is kind of for the most part. I
Mhm.
mean,
Constantine,
there's Batman Begins.
Sin City.
Do you guys remember the Fantastic Four with Jessica Alba?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That one wasn't very
bad.
good, was it?
no, not to my recollection.
2009. Looking at just from the top, it seems to have some better. It has Inglorious Bastards, Star Trek, Watchmen,
Oh my!
Avatar.
Oh wow, that's pretty decent.
Yeah, Hangover.
Avatar, what?
Yeah. Blue People Avatar, right?
Yeah, you gotta specify.
Fast and Furious.
I
Not.
think I actually saw that one in the theater.
Yeah.
It's just called Fast and Furious,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't even know which one that is in the
Sin City came out 2005.
Mhm. That's
That's a
another
good
really
one.
stylistic.
Oh yeah,
That who directed that? What's his name?
Robert Rodriguez.
Oh,
I
it was
believe.
Rodriguez. I was thinking Zack Snyder, but Zack Snyder's movies always remind me of Sin
Yeah.
City. It's a comic
Yeah.
book movie, kind of.
Yes, yeah.
Fantastic Mr. Fox came out in 2009. I like,
I've never seen
Ooh.
that.
That one's a good one
It's
Is that
too.
good?
Love that one.
Okay, I'll have to watch
I like
that.
Wes Anderson.
That's a
movies.
West. That's a yeah.
District 9
yeah.
was 2009.
I have it. I haven't watched it. I need to
What?
watch it. Yeah, my buddy got it for me for Christmas.
District 9?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
a
a
fun
good one.
one.
It's that's another one where
I'm
it's
surprised.
kind of like
I don't know why I didn't see it when it came out because it was pretty.
it's pretty I remember it being in like nominations and shit. Like
Yeah.
I think that's why I
yeah.
watched it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's another one of those ones where it's like kind of greater statements on human like kind in
yeah.
general, like what we do
Yeah.
about
Watch
immigrants and stuff like that.
The Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Talk about CGI.
I saw that in the theater.
George Lopez.
Yeah, he's the teacher or whatever. Yeah. Jeez.
2009 has Drag Me to Hell.
I
think
I didn't
remember
really
watching
like
that
that movie.
one. No,
I didn't really care for that.
Law-abiding citizen.
And that's a Sam Raimi movie. I was kind of bummed.
Yeah.
oh, Observe and Report, Seth Rogen, where he's a mall cop.
Oh yeah.
I remember I saw that in the theater.
That one was
I
crazy.
remember
the
that was
ending.
like that and Paul
Can't hold it.
Paul Blart.
Can't hold a Paul Blart.
Blart came out. Yeah. It was like
And Night
ooh,
at the Museum was
like-
around that time. What's up with all these
that's
like low-level guards?
yeah, that's funny. That's so funny. So I'm looking through 2005 and this is on it. I just picked this up, the House of Wax remake with
Oh
Paris
yeah,
Hilton.
that's
I actually don't mind this movie. I finally watched it because I like it was a 50s movie with Vincent Price, and that was a remake of a 30s
oh
movie.
wow.
And
didn't
I'd
know
never
that.
seen it. And I remember everybody made fun of this, like, oh, it's so bad, Paris Hilton. But I just kind of liked it. It wasn't
Paris
it wasn't
Hilton.
terrible.
What?
I remember
Paris
it
Hilton's
being
good, yeah.
cheesy, but I saw it when I was young.
It's also really like there's some really it's kind of cruel at moments too. I
Some
won't
good
I won't
violence.
get into it, but yeah, I was surprised.
House of Wax. Yeah, I remember it being cheesy.
It's-
I thought
I mean,
with the
you know,
wax
it's-
figures and stuff.
It's not great, of course, but
Mhm.
and it also kind of gave me nostalgia for the mid 2000s.
Yeah, another one of those, definitely.
It's better than other remakes that came out around that time, that's for sure.
Mhm.
I don't know. What do you I don't know. What are you guys leaning towards?
I don't know.
Tough one, man. I don't know. I'd like to do like, I don't know. Actually, we can talk about anything. A good movie, a bad movie, an action movie, a comedy movie. I'm
Should we
down
mix?
for whatever.
Should we mix it up and talk about a bad movie?
Maybe.
Mix it up and be like, why
House of
instead of yeah. I'll be the
Deuce Bigelow.
Deuce Bigelow. I'll be the goofy guy and defend House of Wax, even though there's not much to defend. But
I'd like to see it. I had looked up Woodstock '99 and I was reading about, or I just looked over and I saw stuff about Limp Bizkit and I was like, oh, I gotta see this.
Yes.
Yeah, you gotta watch that one.
They stole the show.
Break stuff.
Yep. And people did. people did. They took them up on that.
Great.
Ian's seen it.
Predators.
Have you seen Greasy Strangler yet, Roman?
I haven't seen it
that's
yet.
right.
No. Hey, that would be one.
That'd be a good bad movie, right?
Sort of like an
Oh,
unknown.
that was one where it's like I want to watch that with you guys, like if we can, like have a few drinks and watch that.
That's
all
a great
together.
idea.
That'd be
Like,
fun.
That's the perfect movie to do that too.
Okay. That'd be cool.
Something else would be good.
Granted,
for
if things are good enough to be together,
Yeah,
we can talk about that. We can talk about that later.
Yeah, knock on everything. But
We'll save Greasy Strangler then.
Yeah, man. And that sounds good to me.
I saw this thing the other day about Hobo with a Shotgun. Have you guys seen that?
I need to watch. My buddy for years is like, dude, how have you not seen that? I'm like, I don't know.
Dude, how
But
would you
yeah.
know that? That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
apparently,
I know, yeah.
apparently it's like a kind of an homage film, like, right?
Yeah.
What I'm reading
It was
about
it started out like Machete with Danny Trejo.
yeah, the
So that was
Tarantino movie?
they made I think that's Robert Rodriguez.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I
But
know
they
do
made it started out as a fake trailer for when Grindhouse came out.
Yeah, that's
like,
right.
The Tarantino Robert Rodriguez collab.
Mhm.
And I think Hobo with the Shotgun was one of the trailers only in Canada, and then they turned it into a movie.
Oh,
That's
okay.
awesome. That
So yeah, that's one I definitely need to watch sometime.
that movie would be cool because I haven't seen it since like shit. It came out in 2011. I probably saw it in like 2013 or 14, and I think it was like one of the first times I'd smoked weed and watched the movie. And so I remember being with my cousin and being like, we were flipping through movies. We're like, Hobo with a Shotgun. We watched the trailer. We're like, yo, we gotta watch this. And I remember it being kind of shitty movie.
Yeah,
But
it wasn't
I think-
the best, but it's still
Yeah.
fun.
But reading about it recently, I guess they like are kind of doing homages to a bunch of things and stuff. So I kind of want to see it now. Like now I think I could watch a movie that's bad on purpose and understand that instead of just being like, this movie sucks.
Yeah.
But I do remember
Yeah.
being fucking blown away by it. Similar to I also saw Nightbreed on one of the first like smoking movies.
Wait
And
a
that
minute.
one I just remember being
Wait,
like, what the hell?
did you say Nightbreed?
Yeah.
The Clive Barker movie?
I don't know if it's Clive Barker. I was so confused in Nightbreed the whole time because I think I was just too lit, but
It's the movie with the monsters, right?
Yep.
And they live in like the cemetery.
yeah, in the crypt or whatever.
Dude. Oh my God, that's like I actually like that movie. It's
I-
weird as
I
it's
need to
weird as
rewatch it.
hell. It's weird as hell, but in fact, I got this.
Oh,
Blu-ray set of
God.
It was I'll show it to you guys real quick.
Nightbreed. I remember just being real confused the whole time. And I'm like
It looks crazy.
laughing and all this shit.
You guys know me. I have to take every chance I can to waste time and show these silly Blu-rays I have. So this was
That's cool,
actually
though.
it was so this is it.
Oh,
it was,
nice.
in fact, and it was numbered. They limited it. I don't know if you can see the number. I got 7,974 out of 10,000.
Dang.
So this was really controversial, this Blu-ray when it came out, because it was $80.
Wow.
And the reason why it was $80 is because it had to do something with they let Clive, it had like a lot of problems when it came out. Like the studio made Clive Barker cut a lot of the movie down.
Mhm.
And so they let him do a director's cut. So it has the director's cut on it and also has the theatrical cut. And the problem was the theatrical cut, getting the rights from the studio to use the theatrical cut. And that's why this costs so much, because they put the director's cut out on its own and it was like $30 or $25.
Mhm.
But you didn't get the theatrical cut. There's a little booklet in here. That's pretty cool. It's got like a, I think it's got a foreword by Clive Barker himself.
I love stuff like
And
that.
it's got like pictures from the movie,
Hmm.
and like David Cronenberg is in it, which is funny because David Cronenberg is not an actor. He's a very prosperous director.
Hmm.
It's got like posters from around the world in it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that. One of my buddies has a bunch of like Japanese horror movie posters. Well, they're not Japanese horrors, but it's the Japanese posters.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and
That's really cool.
you know,
It's a weird ass movie, but I really enjoy it. And the reason why I have this set is I actually think the theatrical cut works better.
mm.
It flows a little better for me. Like
Carlos, you're the one with the mustache, but I definitely picture Ian, you doing like pinching your mustache and being like, I definitely think the theatrical cut.
I'm such a snob. So there's the director's cut, and then there's the theatrical cut.
Ah,
It's a cool set. I can't believe, dude, like you're the only person that I know. I think John's seen it, but like you're like the only person to ever bring up like, oh yeah, I saw Nightbreed. That's why I was like, what? Come again?
Nightbreed?
You saw Nightbreed?
Says it came out in 1990.
Yeah.
February 16th, too. Yeah, it's just funny to look back on watching movies when I was young versus now. I'm like, oh, it's so different.
Yeah.
I've actually grown, believe it or not. And now I can smoke a doobie and watch a movie, and that rhymed. And I can understand it, I can keep up. But like back those first times when I was smoking, and like, yeah, there's movies shit I don't even remember the entire movies, like because I'd go like get all high and like sit in my bedroom and watch Netflix on my phone.
Yeah.
And then later be like, oh yeah, I did watch that movie.
Yeah. I'm looking at Greasy Strangler. It's $18. It's like, I don't know if I want to spend $18 on Greasy Strangler.
Michael St. Michael's.
Oh my God, yeah. The man
I
himself.
still see his picture like every day. I walk by him at work.
That's what Carlos is saying.
Yeah. That's Big Ronnie.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Should we plan on that?
Hell
Greasy
yeah.
Strangler?
I mean, hey, if you guys are down, I'm down.
Especially if we can get together and watch it.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think, Carlos?
Yeah, as
Yeah.
long as we get together, let's do it.
All right, man.
That would be a good
It's
way to do it
definitely-
too, because we could discuss as we watch it.
Yeah, and it's also it's just better in general because like watching this by yourself probably I don't even know if I'd want to watch it by myself. I need to have a support group with me. So.
Oh no! Now I'm scared to watch it.
It's okay. Well, Ron and I we'll take care of you. We'll be your support. But yeah,
We got you.
yeah, we got you.
Yep. Well,
All right, guys. Well, that's all I got for Matrix.
Yeah, good pick, Roman.
Yeah, man.
That was a fun one.
yeah, I'm glad it worked out. I was definitely,
Yeah,
like I said,
definitely.
a little nervous. Like, oh, is this gonna be good? Like, it was fun. It was a good
Yeah,
time.
man. It was and again, it got me to watch my 4K of it and
Mhm.
watch it again in over 15 years. So yeah,
Take you back to that time, like
exactly. It's a
Yeah.
blast from the past.
you said. Yeah, this is like a movie that my dad loves. So it's cool that I gotta go talk to him about it and see. I don't know if he's gonna know any of the biblical references or anything like that, but he'll be like, oh yeah, that movie's fucking tight, blew my
Yeah.
mind back in the day.
Yeah.
My dad saw me watching
Funny.
it, so he sat down for a little bit. It was like, oh
That's
man,
cool.
yeah, that part. Ooh, get him. Ooh.
That's
Yep.
cool.
Yeah,
The Matrix.
my girlfriend was talking to her dad, and he was like, he's talking to his friends about the Matrix. That's the coolest thing I've ever heard.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But then he had to hit me with, have you seen the Animatrix? I said no, and he's like, oh, never mind then.
Don't talk to me.
Yeah, you're not
Yeah.
cool anymore.
Yeah. But yeah,
Your cool card has been revoked.
great movie, nostalgic for all of us, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, good time.
Yeah, man.
This
Good
is-
pick.
This is Carlos signing off.
Signing
This-
off.
This is Roman, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time.
Yep. See you later,
Deuces.
boy.